At the same time, Nami shook out all the wallets stolen from them. Hole! He actually stole our wallets! Little thief cat! Really, this guy hasn't changed at all. Usopp also said speechlessly. You won't betray us again, will you? Zoro also patted his head and said, Please take care of yourself. Nami waved goodbye to everyone. But Su Tsang naturally understood that the money Nami left behind was naturally far more than the money she had just stolen. It was just a different way to face separation, which was less artificial and more enjoyable. At this moment, at the Marine headquarters, Malin Fando was holding a meeting. So this group of people is at least beyond the reach of the branch, right? Asked a senior officer sitting in the audience. Marine, who was responsible for the analysis on the stage, introduced. From before they formed the pirate group, to when they reached the Marine branch colonel, Axeman Monka, their momentum has been rising and it is simply unstoppable. Buggy the Clown is worth 15 million Baileys. Pirate Admiral Krieg is worth 17 million Baileys. The Murloc pirate Sawtooth Dragon is worth 20 million Baileys. There are also rumors that Su Tsang, the most powerful among them, had a duel with Hawkeye of the Seven Warlords of the Sea, but the outcome is unknown. But the result is that he is still alive. The analyzing officer added, Everyone knows the meaning of what he said. In the East China Sea, where the average is only 3 million Baileys, these people were considered big pirates just now, but they were defeated by them. Therefore, the first reward for this man named Luffy was as high as 30 million Baileys. As for the one named Su Tsang, because there is no clear evidence that he defeated Shichibukai, his reward amount is set at 50 million Baileys. This is considered a special case in the world. However, at present, it seems that the amount of these bounties is not high. This new trend should be eradicated as soon as possible to prevent it from getting stronger in the future. As soon as he left Kokoyashi village, Su Tsang once again heard a very familiar voice. Ding ding ding! Congratulations! Host! You have successfully signed in at Coco West Village. Congratulations. You got the magical bag. Suddenly, a very delicate little bag appeared on Su Tsang's waist. As before, Su Tsang was very curious about what the system gave him, so he played with it and asked about it. System, what is this magical bag? In addition to the demon suit that can be transformed freely, this is the first time Su Tsang has obtained such a strange prop. The system then began to explain. The magic bag, as the name suggests, is very magical. If you need anything, you can take it directly from the bag, but there is a limit of 3 times a day. That is to say, you can take out any item you want from the bag. As long as you really want it, you can get whatever you want. After the system explained, Su Tsang nodded excitedly. So, where's the devil fruit? Su Tsang asked excitedly. Unfortunately, the system poured cold water on Su Tsang. Except some special items. Although I said you can get anything, I am referring to some common items, such as drinks, Baileys, food and the like. The system did not expect Su Tsang to want devil fruit. Besides, you can no longer eat the devil fruits in this world because you already have a super devil fruit. Su Tsang confirmed again and again, and then he understood the function of this magical bag. The biggest function of the magic bag is actually supply. When everyone is short of food and water, they can take it out from this bag at any time. Even Bailey can take it out. It can be said to be an artifact. At this time, it was another sunny noon, cloudless, and the sea was very calm. There are many seagulls in the sky. At this time, a bird with a newspaper bag hanging on it fell from the sky. This bird was naturally a messenger on the sea, a news bird. Nami bought a newspaper, and the newspaper also included the latest bounty pirates in the East China Sea. Nami didn't know it until she looked at it. Only after looking at it did she realize that 2 big bosses had appeared on her pirate ship. Luffy! Su Tsang! You two have been put a bounty on Marine's head, Nami said in horror. Being put on a bounty means that they have embarked on a road of no return. At this time, Luffy looked at his 30 million belly bounty very proudly, and showed off to others. And Su Tsang saw that his reward was already 50 million. I didn't expect the initial reward to reach such a high amount. It seems that Colonel Rad is really afraid of me. Su Tsang couldn't help but snickered. You haven't understood the situation of pretending. This means that people are eyeing your lives. Nami has a headache, which means that future adventures will be more difficult. Bounties at the level of Su Tsang and Luffy are enough to attract the attention of Marines and powerful bounty hunters. At this moment, Newsbird has distributed Su Tsang and Luffy's bounty all over the world. And Nami and others are planning how to enter the Grand Channel. It seems that the Great Channel can only be entered from the upside-down mountain, but how to enter, we don't know exactly. Nami had a headache. As a navigator, it was impossible to be trivial. At this time Su Tsang came out and said, There are 4 sea areas in the world, and we are located in the East China Sea. If you want to enter the Great Channel, you must enter upside-down mountain. First, follow the sea current to the top of the mountain. Finally, follow the sea current from the mountain, and you will reach the entrance of the Great Channel. As for the next stop, I think it will be in Rog Town. Su Tsang, who knew the plot, naturally made a plan for the next step. Rog Town? That's what I mean too. Nami nodded, finally meeting someone with whom he could communicate. What? Is that a famous place for meat? Luffy asked. Alias, the town of beginning and end, I remember hearing it like this. Zoro said very leisurely. This is One Piece, the town where Gold Roger died. The town where One Piece died. Luffy seemed to have remembered something. Going? Nami asked. I want to see the town where the man who got One Piece, the man who got everything in the world, was born and died. Luffy said firmly. In the following time, Su Tsang carefully digested the previous battle with Hawkeye, and worked hard to refine and condense chakra. Naturally, his strength improved. Although he has the magical bag, Su Tsang still has to go to Rog Town to sign in. After all, for him, he can become stronger by going to the important places where Luffy should go. With Sanji, Nami, Usopp, Zoro, Luffy, and Su Tsang himself on board, there are already 6 people on board. This kind of adventure is becoming less and less lonely. Everyone blended in easily and became real partners. Time passed quickly, and finally, the Straw Hat team arrived at Rog Town, the last town in the East China Sea before the entrance to the Great Channel. Everyone stepped off the boat, and when they looked up, they saw the huge words, Rog Town. People were coming and going around, and it was very lively. This was once a town where pirates who aimed at the Great Channel gathered. You can buy everything you need, Nami reminded. Okay. I'm going to collect some equipment for the big adventure that's about to begin, Usopp said enthusiastically. It seems that I can buy good ingredients. There are also beautiful women. Sanji, the sexy chef, naturally noticed a lot of young ladies, which exposed his coquettish personality. I also have something I want to buy, Zoro said. Oh. What did you buy? Nami's words confused Zoro, and then Nami showed a sinister smile. Okay. I want to see the execution platform. I want to see the place where One Piece is executed, Luffy said very excitedly, and then disappeared into the crowd. Hey! We haven't decided on the meeting place yet, Usopp shouted, but Luffy had disappeared without a trace, and then he said speechlessly. There's really nothing we can do about him. Then just listen to me. Let's go shopping around, buy what you need to buy, and then go back to the boat and wait. Su Tsang's arrangement was very reasonable. By the way, take this thing. If you need rescue, just pull it. Su Tsang then took out a few cloud-piercing arrows directly from his magic bag. As the saying goes, an arrow pierces the clouds and thousands of troops come to meet you. After everyone saw it, they went to support. Su Tsang and Luffy have completely opposite personalities. One is carefree, and the other is extremely meticulous. Su Tsang is still thoughtful. After everyone finished speaking, they planned to separate. Don't you have anything you want to buy? Nami asked, looking at Su Tsang. I don't know yet, let's go shopping first. I have money myself, I don't need you to borrow it, haha. Su Tsang saw through Nami's plan early in the morning. Nami obviously wanted to lend Su Tsang a lone shark and kill Su Tsang. Well, it's such a pity. Nami felt a little disappointed. She didn't expect that Su Tsang was really hard to deceive. Immediately afterwards, Luffy was very excited to look for the execution platform of One Piece. Sanji looked for ingredients and feasted his eyes on them. Nami went to try on various clothes but didn't buy anything, and Usopp went to the grocery store with weird products. Su Tsang was walking on the street very comfortably. After traveling to this world, Su Tsang felt peaceful and comfortable for the first time. It would be great if he could stay in this city safely for a while. However, Su Tsang is very clear that since he has traveled to this world and possesses such a heaven-defying cheat, he will naturally become a legend on the sea. If he lives a mediocre life, then coming to the pirate world is really in vain. Just when Su Tsang was distracted, a pirate jumped out of nowhere. This pirate looked very arrogant, and at this moment he actually allowed his men to rob nearby. Grab them all. This is the precious food that I, Mikazuki Kariki-sama, used to become One Piece. The pirate said proudly. Just hand it over with gratitude. However, at this time, the white-haired man with 2 large cigars in his mouth had already walked in front of the pirate. Who is your leader? The man asked very domineeringly. Who is your kid? Is it Monkey D., Luffy? Or Su Tsang? What nonsense are you talking about? Marine. The pirate saw Marine and felt something was wrong. Let me test whether you are worthy of breaking into the town under Laozi's jurisdiction. The man was very domineering and ready to go head-to-head with the pirates. Smoker. Su Tsang recognized the identity of the white-haired man at a glance, but he didn't say anything more and just watched quietly from the side. Kill him. The pirate who calls himself Mikazuki Kali ordered his younger brother to rush out. However, the smoker in front of him is the user of Logia's smoke fruit. In the East China Sea, with Logia's ability, he can be said to be almost invincible. This group of pirates was instantly defeated by Smoker, who caught the group very easily. Marine next to him said, It's amazing. As expected of Colonel Smoker, he defeated the Straw Hats so easily. Are your eyes just for decoration? How could this guy be the Straw Hats? If such a small character was worth 30 million belly, the world would be over. Smoker said. So, where are Luffy and Su Tsang? Marine asked awkwardly. Luffy doesn't know, but Su Tsang is right here. Have you seen enough? Pirate Su Tsang. Su Tsang did not expect that Smoker, such a big person, could be both rough and thin, and he had already discovered himself while fighting. Therefore, Su Tsang no longer concealed his identity and walked out directly. As expected of Colonel Smoker of Marine, he is so sharp. Su Tsang stepped forward and slowly lowered his hood, revealing himself. Smoker smiled slightly and said, Now that you have arrived in Rog Town, there is no need to move forward. As the pirate with the highest reward in the East China Sea, as long as you are caught, your accomplices will naturally fall apart, right? Su Tsang shook his head and said, That's wrong. Catching me doesn't mean you can capture them. What's more, you can't capture me at all. Oh? Are you so confident? Smoker asked. Now he was ready to fight. Yes, that's how confident you are. After Su Tsang finished speaking, the two of them stopped talking. Immediately afterwards, Smoker had already taken the initiative to rush towards Su Tsang. Smoker was very cautious. Although he was a little arrogant, he did not underestimate Su Tsang. As soon as he made a move, he used his smoke fruit ability. Smoker shouted, White Smoke Launcher. Then he rushed towards Su Tsang at an extremely fast speed, trying to catch Su Tsang as quickly as possible. Su Tsang, on the other hand, did a continuous backflip and avoided Smoker's impact with his flexible body. Smoker was also very frightened when he saw this. This guy is so fast, even with the use of the White Smoke Launcher, he can't catch up with him? Smoker obviously wouldn't stop because of this, he simply punched him. White Fist. Smoker's White Fist actually turns his wrist into smoke to increase his speed and attack distance. Su Tsang knew that the opponent was Logia, so this time he did not dodge and chose to go natural. Don't forget that Sutsung's devil fruit has the advantages of animal, paramecia, and logia. Smoker was shocked when Smoker's white fist hit Sutsung's body but was directly passed through. Devil fruit. Logia. This guy is actually one of the rare logia fruit users. Seeing this, Smoker no longer dared to look down upon Sutsung. He drew his weapon, 10 hands, directly from his back, and then used his white smoke to flexibility and speed, ready to use the weapons in hand to defeat Sutsung. Sutsung is not even afraid of sea water, so naturally he will not be afraid of Smoker's sea stone weapon. However, Sutsung planned to conceal this for the time being, so he directly pulled out the Shura from his waist. At this time, Shura was filled with blood red and could fuse his power to Sutsung at any time. However, Sutsung did not intend to do this, because the opponent in front of him was not a Shichibukai like Hawkeye, but a Logia fruit user, Marine Colonel Smoker. If you have to use Shura to deal with just a Smoker, it will really insult the name of Shura. To deal with an enemy of Smoker's level, just using swordsmanship is absolutely enough. Therefore, Sutsung pulled out Shura and Danged Sung. The two weapons collided with each other. It can be said that an expert will know if there is anything as soon as he takes action. Smoker felt that his strength was easily removed by the opponent. It was obvious that the opponent's knife was not a decoration. What a surprise! I didn't expect that this guy is not only a devil fruit user, but also a swordsman? It's really troublesome. Although Smoker had a headache, he still waved the weapon in his hand again and again. I am still very confident in my abilities. In the past, Sutsung thought that he might not be Smoker's opponent with his swordsmanship. However, after Sutsung's battle with Hawkeye and his previous understanding of the way of swordsmanship, Sutsung's swordsmanship level at this time had already reached a very high level. Realm. The Smoker in front of me is naturally not enough. After a few rounds, Smoker was beaten until he was out of breath. Sutsung could kill Smoker instantly, but that would be more than worth the gain. After all, killing Smoker would greatly affect the original plot. Whole pirate. I didn't expect you to be quite strong. It seems that the highest reward in the East China Sea is not a waste. Smoker gave Sutsung high praise. Sutsung also said, "You are indeed Smoker. Compared with the average Marine general, he is indeed much more powerful. However, in front of me, he is still a bit unsatisfied." Humph. Don't be proud. I will catch you right away. Throw you into prison. Smoker then shouted, "White man!" This move uses the smoke fruit to transform his whole body into smoke, and then entangles the opponent. It is also considered one of Smoker's more powerful moves. But Sutsung naturally said sarcastically, "Don't forget, I am also Logia's, so your attacks can't do anything to me." Sure enough, as soon as Smoker came over, he found that Sutsung had naturalized, and his whole body turned into black elements, and he didn't know what they were. Smoker had no choice but to continue fighting Sutsung in close combat. "What kind of fruit are you? I have never seen this kind of Logia fruit," Smoker asked while fighting. "Hey! I won't tell you!" Sutsung almost d Smoker to death. "If you have the ability, don't use the fruit's power," Smoker shouted. He felt that Sutsung's Logia ability was very annoying. Sutsung retorted, "You are no match for me in close combat. Your fruit abilities are all Logias. You can't do anything to me. Why don't you let me go? Don't dwell on me any longer. It's not good for everyone." Humph. I won't give up. Smoker, as a Marine, would definitely not be able to compromise with the pirates. Sutsung saw that Smoker didn't know how to praise, so he said, "You are the one who is shameless, so don't blame me for getting angry. Come on." Although Smoker didn't understand what Sutsung meant, he was still ready to end it. Smoker shouted again this time, "White blast." His limbs turned into smoke, blowing around with an extremely powerful storm. "That's it." Sutsung laughed, and then his whole person became a little different. There seemed to be a layer of devil's coat attached to his whole body, and the power of darkness around him became thicker and thicker. Since you are called White Gale, how about I call you Black Gale? After Su Tseng finished speaking, he controlled the power of darkness and rushed towards Smoker with all his strength. Smoker was shocked. How is it possible? How do you have such a powerful imitation ability? In fact, Su Tseng used the Sharingan to copy Smoker's move, and then used the power of the devil to release it again. Smoker and Marine were blown away in an instant, and then fell to the side of the road, seemingly unconscious. Oh, what a surprise! Su Tseng saw that the people around him were already looking at him, so he immediately left the place. Su Tseng came to the door of a cafe inadvertently. He was about to go in and hide for a while, but found two men at the door of the cafe, who seemed to be scaring a woman. Don't be wordy! Our leader was arrested and imprisoned by her. Haven't you learned your lesson yet? The woman with blue-black hair asked. Yeah, if this continues, we can't swallow this breath. We will throw your body in front of him. The two pirates threatened. I know, I'm happy to accompany you. The blue-haired woman then easily chopped her opponent to the ground. The woman accidentally fell to the ground and dropped her glasses in front of Zoro. Oh, what a pair of enemies! The identity of the woman in front of him was Marine, but she looked exactly like Zoro's old friend Kuina. Su Tseng couldn't even imagine the subsequent development. Therefore, Su Tseng quickly left this place where he was spreading dog food. Oh, it's so boring. It's a rare trip out, but I met a Smoker on the front foot and Dasky on the back foot. Su Tseng was really bored, so he found a barber shop and planned to trim his waist-length hair. How to cut it? This customer? The boss asked very politely. My hair is too long, just cut it short, let's do a haircut, dye it white. Su Tseng had plenty of money and time, so he naturally spent some time in the barber shop. Are you satisfied? At this time, Su Tseng couldn't recognize himself when he saw himself in the mirror. With white back and white eyebrows, the whole person looks like something out of an anime. Su Tseng gave the boss a tip, and the moment he walked out of the door, he used the devil's suit to change into Virgil's clothes from Devil May Cry. The whole person has completely changed his style. However, at this moment, the atmosphere on the street has undergone extreme changes. The originally peaceful street is full of panic. The entire town of Rog has become overcast, and many people on the streets are running away. Su Tseng quickly asked, Excuse me, what happened? The young lady said in horror, Pirates have invaded Rog Town. Where? Su Tseng asked. On the execution platform. The young lady replied and immediately ran away. Could it be Luffy? After Su Tseng heard this, he was naturally worried for his companions. At this time, beautiful fireworks appeared with a bang above somewhere in Rog Town. The fireworks finally revealed the Straw Hat Pirates logo. Oh no, there is a signal. This means that our companions are in crisis. Su Tseng immediately rushed to the place where the signal was sent. Unexpectedly, the place where the signal was emitted was the execution platform square. At this time, on the execution platform, the clown Buggy has locked Luffy, obviously wanting to kill Luffy. You're going to die. Luffy. The clown Buggy was about to kill him. Sanji and Zoro had already rushed out, but Arita and others who had eaten the slippery fruit temporarily stopped Sanji and Zoro. And Su Tseng can already see the ambush of Marine around him. As soon as the gun fires, all the pirates will be surrounded by Marine. At this moment, a bolt of lightning struck down, hitting the execution platform impartially. Because Luffy was made of rubber, he was unscathed. Instead, Buggy the Clown was struck by lightning. At this time, all the Marines from Rog Town appeared and soon surrounded all the pirates. The pirates and Marines started fighting, and when Su Tseng saw this, he breathed a sigh of relief. Monkey D. Long. It really scared me to death just now, Su Tseng muttered to himself. Run away! Luffy! If you don't leave now, you won't be able to get to the Grand Line, Sanji and others said. Let's go! I'll cut off the queen for you, Su Tseng said. Sorry to trouble you. Luffy knew Su Tseng's ability, so he naturally chose to trust him. He followed Sanji, Zoro, and others and ran towards the port quickly. Smoker also ordered at this time, "I will never let them go." However, Marine was soon chopped down to the ground by Su Tsang, and Marine could only watch Su Tsang and the Straw Hats walk away like this. "In the name of Marine Colonel Smoker, I will never let them escape this island." Smoker then took action again. At this time, Su Tsang keenly captured a powerful person. Su Tsang followed him in an instant, and the man asked, "What do you do for me, sir?" "Monkey D. Dragon? I am Luffy's companion." Su Tsang revealed Dragon's identity in one breath. "Oh? You know me? You can still keep up with me. It seems that you have good strength and super judgment." Long did not admit his identity, but he did not deny it either. "Thank you for your compliment. I have nothing to do. Since you came to see Luffy, I will represent Luffy and meet you to show my respect." Su Tsang's words revealed a hint of respect, but more of a kind of confidence. "Ha! Having you as Luffy's partner will save me a lot of trouble. Let the wind blow. The storm of fate is coming." After the dragon finished speaking, he disappeared. What a strange father, so neurotic. Su Tsang then ignored Long and quickly chased after Luffy and others. Su Tsang knew that Monkey D. Long should buy some time for everyone. Due to rain, Buggy's men failed to burn the Mary. Soon Usopp, Nami and others returned and jumped onto the ship as quickly as possible. Due to Marine's continued attack, Nami and others had to sail ahead of time. I originally thought that Smoker would buy a lot of time for Straw Hat and others to deal with Buggy the Clown, Arita and others. However, because of Smoker's ability, he easily caught Buggy, Arita and others. Riding a motorcycle, Smoker had already caught up with Luffy and others. Tashigi starts fighting Zoro. Luffy then started fighting Smoker. As for Su Tsang, he jumped onto the boat with Sanji. "Zoro, Luffy hasn't boarded the boat yet, but we have to leave." Nami had no choice. The current was too strong, and there was no way to reach the shore at this time. Zoro defeated Dusky and finally chose to show mercy. Luffy is not Smoker's opponent at all. After all, it can be said that today's Logia ability users are difficult to defeat. But in the end, Monkey D. Dragon appeared and directly used his ability to blow a strong wind. Finally, Luffy and Zoro got rid of Smoker and others' pursuit. In the end, Luffy used his rubber power to launch Zoro and him onto the Mary. Finally, all members of the Straw Hat team arrived. Although this trip to Rog Town was very embarrassing, it could be said that there was no danger, and everyone finally completed what they wanted to do. The storm was still there, but the wind was blowing in the right direction. The Melly quickly disappeared into the sea. Even if Marine wanted to look for them, he couldn't find them at all. The Straw Hats and the others have completely escaped from Rogue Town and are completely safe. Not long after the Melee sailed, everyone saw the lighthouse standing in the distance. "Look at that light," Nami prompted. "Is it the lighthouse on the island?" Usopp asked. "The guiding light. The entrance to the Great Channel is at the end of the light," Nami said. "Is the Great Channel just in front of that?" Luffy couldn't hold back his excitement. Everyone was very excited, and Sanji suggested, "To celebrate that our ship is about to enter the Great Channel, let's have a launching ceremony." Sanji then put his feet on the barrel and said, "I'm here to find Alblue." Luffy also put his foot down and said confidently, "I want to become One Piece. I want to become a great swordsman." Zoro also put his foot down and answered very ambitiously, "I'm here to draw a map of the world." Nami said, I want to become a brave sea warrior." Usopp also summoned up the courage to say. Only Su Tsang remained silent, and everyone looked at him in confusion. "Do I want it too?" Su Tsang asked. "Nonsense!" everyone yelled. "Come on! Tell us about your dreams." Su Tsang thought for a while, and finally put his feet up, and then said, I am here to make all your wishes come true." "It's great, but is this true? How could anyone have such a wish?" Usopp was skeptical. "I believe him." Luffy said with a smile. We all believe it. The companions finally said in unison, and Su Tsung felt very warm in his heart. Being able to become partners with the protagonists of the original work and go on adventures with them is really something I have always dreamed of. Let's go to the Grand Channel, Luffy announced. Everyone lifted their feet up and put them back down. The next thing that was left was to devote themselves wholeheartedly to the next adventure. At this time, the voice that Su Tsung had been thinking about day and night appeared again. Ding ding ding. Congratulations, host. Congratulations on successfully entering and leaving Rog Town. Sign in successfully. The system rewards you with the blood of the Uzumaki clan in the Hokage ninja world. What? The bloodline of the Uzumaki clan. Su Tsung was happy now. I had worked hard to condense chakra before, but I didn't expect that chakra would now come to my door. Uzumaki Naruto's chakra is powerful, on the one hand because he is Nine Tails Jinchuriki, and on the other hand because he was born with the blood of the Uzumaki clan. The chakra is far beyond that of ordinary ninjas. Now that the system has rewarded Su Tsung with the bloodline of the Uzumaki clan, Su Tsung's total amount of chakra has naturally improved greatly. Although Su Tsung cannot maintain the double Magatama Sharingan state now, the usage time has been greatly increased than before. In this way, it is possible to use ninjutsu in future battles. Su Tsung is still looking forward to future rewards. Some people may ask, since Su Tsung possesses chakra, why doesn't he study a genin technique? In fact, Su Tsung also studied some ninjutsu, such as Rasengan, in his free time. However, Su Tsung didn't know how to use magic at all. Except for Sharingan, Su Tsung didn't know any other magic. Time passed in a series of research and improvements. Hey! I saw it! I saw incredible mountains. Luffy suddenly called everyone out from the deck. There was a huge mountain in front of him. The clouds blocked his view and he couldn't see the top of the mountain. Is this the Red Earth continent? Luffy asked excitedly. Zoro held the telescope and saw the scene in front of him and couldn't help but said, "This is amazing. The sea water is really climbing up the mountain." Soon, the melee followed the sea water and rushed towards the top of Upside Down Mountain. After a while, the melee flew directly to the top of the mountain. It didn't stay on the top of the mountain for long, and the melee rushed directly down the mountain. But soon, everyone heard a strange cry. "Did you hear anything just now?" Zoro asked. "What did you say?" Nami asked. After all, the downward moving melee made too much noise. "Didn't you hear any strange noises?" Zoro asked again. "Is that the sound of wind?" "It must be because the terrain here is so strange," Nami said with certainty. However, Usopp saw an unknown object in front of him. "Hey! Miss Nami, I see a mountain in front of me," Usopp said. Impossible. In Nami's memory, after entering the Grand Channel, there were no mountains in the middle. "But it does exist," Usopp said truthfully. "Whatever. Go ahead." Luffy still looked very excited. "Don't worry. It's okay." Su Tsung comforted him, and Usopp felt relieved. What Su Tsung said was always reassuring, because so far, everything Su Tsung said was 100% correct. Except for the twin capes in front, it should all be the sea. Nami also agreed. However, when everyone finally came down, they discovered that the thing in front of them was not a mountain at all, but a huge whale with scars all over its head. Everyone fell into panic instantly. Everyone wanted to turn the rudder to the left to avoid the huge whale in front of them, but the rudder was broken at this time. At this time, Su Tsung once again made a handsome appearance. He stopped Luffy from firing the cannon and fully attached the Devil Fruit ability to himself. Then the shadow behind Su Tsung immediately became extremely huge. "Stop!" Su Tsung pushed the whale's body with his palm, and the melee stopped in place unscathed. Although the melee had stopped in place without incident, Nami, Usopp and others still closed their eyes tightly, not daring to look at what was happening. "Why, there's no sound. What happened? Usopp and the others then opened their eyes. When they saw that Su Tsung actually stopped the melee from hitting the whale, Everyone felt relieved. If it hadn't been for Su-Tsang, we might have died. Nami still shuddered a little when she thought about the scene just now. It would be a joke if everyone just crossed the Great Channel and the ship crashed and everyone was killed. Zoro, Luffy and others also swallowed their saliva. Seeing that the ship had completely stopped, Su-Tsang naturally put away his demonic power. Quick! Run away! Now! Zoro said immediately. Then everyone paddled quickly, and the melee quickly passed through the gap next to the whale. The whale roared, but everyone covered their ears. My ears hurt so much! Get away from him quickly! Usopp shouted. However, the whale opened its mouth unexpectedly, and then the Golden Mary and the Straw Hats were swallowed into the whale's belly so easily. Hey! Su-Tsang! Do something quickly! Nami urged immediately. Yes. We are already like this, why are you still taking your time? Usopp almost burst into tears. Hey, why are you so nervous? Didn't you just get swallowed by a whale? Su-Tsang still didn't care. Everyone almost fainted. In this way, the whale swallowed everyone and the melee into its mouth, and closed its mouth. However, Luffy was unfortunately separated from his friends. However, when everyone thought that they were bound to die, they discovered that there was a different world around them. Hey, what do you think? Sanji asked. What do you think? What do you think I should think? At this time, Zoro didn't know how to answer Sanji. I thought we must have been swallowed by a whale. Are we dreaming? Sanji looked at the small island next to the melee. There was a small house on the small island. Looking at the surrounding clouds and the colored sea, Su-Tsang said, Maybe you won't believe it, but we are in the belly of the whale now. No way. Nami also couldn't believe it. But if it's really inside the whale's belly, what do the island and the house mean? Nami asked. At this moment, a sound suddenly came from not far in front of the melee, and a huge squid rushed out. The Straw Hats and others were preparing to fight. However, weapons shot out from the house, and finally knocked down the giant squid easily. At this moment, a figure walked out of the room. This man was wearing a red shirt and round glasses, but his hair was weird and seemed to have a lot of flowers in it. Who is this, Grandpa? You defeated this giant squid very easily? Was it to save us? Finally, the old man walked out and finally sat on the bench and read the newspaper. What are you talking about? Sanji couldn't help complaining. The old man looked at the melee belatedly and said, Oh? So there is someone there. Grandpa, where is this place and who are you? Can you tell me something? Sanji asked very directly. When you ask someone a question, it's polite to state your name first, isn't it? The grandfather asked. Upon seeing this, Zoro immediately said, That's right, I'm so sorry, my name is. As a result, the old man actually took the initiative to introduce himself. My name is Kulotas, I am the lighthouse keeper of Gemini Cape, I am 71 years old, Gemini, type AB. Zoro said angrily. Can I kill him? You asked me where this is? You broke into my private resort, and you sounded so arrogant. Do you think this is a rat's belly? After Kurotas finished speaking, everyone became more sure that they has indeed been eaten by a whale. Wait a minute, what will happen to us? I don't want to be digested, Nami said very worriedly. The exit is right there. Kurotas pointed, but he didn't expect that there was a gate in the belly of the whale. Wait a minute, why is there an exit in the whale's belly? Nami said very puzzled. As a result, everyone discovered that the sky, sea and seagulls in the belly of the whale were actually paintings. But when everyone was about to leave, the whale started to ripple. Everyone on the melee and the small island in Kurotas began to shake violently. Has it started yet? Kurotas said mysteriously. What started? Please explain. Usopp also asked anxiously. This whale started to hit the red continent with its head, Kurotas said. I see. Did this person want to kill him inside the whale? Let's leave quickly. There is no obligation to rescue this whale, Sanji, Zoro, and others said. At this time, everyone was rowing desperately, trying to get out of the whale's belly. However, at this moment, Kurotas jumped into the whale's stomach acid, and after a while, Kurotas began to crawl toward a small door above the exit. Suddenly, a loud "ah" was heard, and 3 figures suddenly flew in from the small door. Those people are, Kurotas is a little unsure. However, Su-tsang, who was among the straw hats, recognized the origin of the person at a glance. One of them is Luffy, the other is an agent of Baroque Walker wearing green clothes, and the other is Vivi, the princess of Alabasta with blue hair. The 3 of them just fell into the sea of stomach acid. "Help me," Luffy said before sinking into stomach acid. The whale slowly stabilized, and everyone rescued the 3 people who fell into the water. "Who are these people, Mr. Nine?" blue-haired Vivi asked. "These guys are pirates, probably, Miss Wednesday," Mr. Nine, with orange hair and a crown, responded. At this time, Kurotas came back and said very sternly, "You villains are still there. As long as I am still here, you will never be allowed to touch a hair of Laboon. Even if you say so, we still can't go back. Killing this whale is our mission. You can't stop us from hunting today." Vivi and her partner sang in harmony. "Watch me make a big hole in his stomach." The Baroque duo picked up the cannon and tried to bombard the inside of the whale's body. However, at this time Kurotas rushed up and used his body to block the 2 shells. Immediately after 2 bang sounds, the shell exploded. That old man actually used his body to block the cannonball. Usopp looked very shocked. He had never seen anyone do this for a whale. "Is he protecting the whale?" Sanji said. "Ha! Stop doing meaningless things," Vivi said. "If you want to protect it so much, then give it a try. This whale will become food in our town," Mr. Nine said very proudly, as if he was determined to win the whale Laboon. However, at this time, Luffy took the initiative and repaired the 2 of them. "I beat them for some reason," Luffy said. Soon, Kurotas invited everyone to return to his island. "Thank you for helping me, although I don't know why." Kurotas thanked him. "I'm not trying to help you, I just don't understand them for some reason," Luffy said. "I said, what are you doing here?" Luffy asked. "What are you doing in the belly of this whale?" everyone asked. "The target of these bad guys is Laboon. If they catch Laboon, they will starve the town of food for 2 or 3 years. Laboon is the name of this whale. He is an island whale that only lives in West Blue, the world. The largest whale in the world." Kurotas briefly introduced Laboon. "There is a reason why this guy keeps crashing into the Red Earth continent, and keeps roaring towards the upside-down mountain." Then, Kurotas told everyone the story of what happened between the whale Laboon and the Lumba pirates. "Listen. Okay, let me take you out of here." Kurotas then boarded the melee with the straw hats and led everyone from the exit. What an amazing water channel. It's a good thing he's still alive with so many holes in his stomach. Everyone was very surprised. "I'm a doctor, don't look at me like this," Kurotas said proudly. "And he must be the ship's doctor on Gold, Roger's ship." Su-tsang, who had been silent until now, suddenly spoke, shocking everyone. "No way! This old man actually..." Everyone looked at Su-tsang and Kurotas in disbelief. "Really?" Luffy asked, staring at Kurotas. "Well, guess." Kurotas looked at Su-tsang awkwardly and said, "Sir, who are you?" Su-tsang first bowed his head slightly with respect, and then said, "Of course we are all pirates, pursuing the distance and the sea. My name is Su-tsang, and the initial bounty is 50 million belly. Yes, it's so scary. It seems that the sea is going to be lively again." Kurotas cleverly avoided the entanglement between himself and One Piece Roger. But Luffy immediately invited, "Grandpa is so powerful, why don't you come on our ship and be our ship's doctor?" "That's not necessary. I no longer have the strength to act like you do. I'm getting old after all." "Is that why you treated Laboon in the belly of the whale?" Only then did everyone understand the whole story. "That's right, his injury is very serious and can no longer be treated externally." "Okay, I'm going to open it." Kurotas then opened the door, and then everyone finally took the melee and left the whale Laboon. Somewhere in the body came out. At this time, Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine woke up one after another, and while everyone was chatting, the topic of why Laboon's friends had not appeared so far came up. I have received news that the Lombard pirates have escaped and fled the Grand Line, Kuroda said. No? Then why didn't you tell Laboon? That way she wouldn't hurt herself again. Nami and others said. It would be nice if it were that simple, Kuroda said. Did they ignore their previous agreement? Sanji also felt that these people were a little unreasonable. The Great Channel is such a scary place. Maybe they have given up taking risks. Kuroda said, not too sure. No, the Lombard pirates did not escape the Great Channel, Suitsing said. Why do you say that? Everyone was very interested in Suitsang's words. So far, everything Suitsang said was correct. Among his companions, everyone gave Suitsang a nickname Prophet, or said, it is more appropriate to call him a prophet. I can feel that all the Lumba pirates have died in the Great Channel, but one person is still alive. Suitsang was trying to confuse things, while Kuroda's looked unbelieving. Oh? Who is it? Kuroda's asked deliberately. He almost remembered everyone's names. It's a man named Brook, a musician. He should be in the first half of the Great Channel, and I feel that we will meet sooner or later. After Suitsang finished talking about Brook, Kuroda's was stunned. Suitsang seems to really be able to know everything. But at this time, the tranquilizer on the whale Laboon's body seemed to have lost its effect, and Laboon went crazy again and began to attack the melee. At this moment, Luffy launched an attack on the whale Laboon in one go. Although Luffy was very powerful, the fight seemed very fierce. Everyone believed that Luffy would never hurt Laboon the whale, but everyone just didn't understand what Luffy wanted to do for a while. This guy. What do you mean? Sanji and others looked at it for a long time but didn't understand. If this continues, both Laboon and Luffy will be injured, Nami said very worriedly. No way, we must stop them. Usopp was ready to take action. Don't be impatient, Luffy will naturally have his own ways. Suitsang stopped everyone who wanted to get involved. At this time, Luffy was knocked away by Laboon, but he stood up and said, It's a draw. I'm very strong. Do you want to beat me? We haven't decided the winner yet, so we have to continue fighting. Although your companions are dead, I will always be your opponent. Let's fight again and see who is stronger. After we circle the Grand Line, we will come back to you, and then let's fight again, Luffy said with a smile. And the whale Laboon suddenly felt that his existence had meaning again, and endless tears burst out of his eyes. Then Luffy drew an extremely ugly straw hat painting on the head of Laboon the whale, and said, Before you come back, don't hit him. Everyone looked at it and smiled lightly. This seemed to be a perfect ending. Afterwards, everyone worked hard to repair the melee, and then prepared to leave the Twin Capes and officially enter the Great Channel. As for Princess Vivi and his partner, Suitsang had already seen their departure, but he did not take action. He just sent there the record pointer was secretly retrieved. At this time, everyone was busy working before departure, but Nami shouted that the compass was broken. At this time, Suitsang took the initiative to come out and gave the record pointer to Nami and said, The islands of the Grand Route contain a large amount of magnetic minerals, so the magnetic field along the entire route is very abnormal, and the sea currents and wind directions are unpredictable. Therefore, if you want to sail on the Great Channel, you must have a recording pointer, which is what I gave you. This is a special compass that can record magnetic force. Without this kind of thing, it is impossible to travel on the waterway. After Suitsang's highlight moment, there was Kuroda's applause. It seems that some of you have done your homework in advance. He is right. What is known now is that the islands scattered throughout the Great Channel are connected together by magnetic force according to certain laws. That is to say, you need to use the recording pointer to record the magnetic force connecting the islands, so that you can find the route to the next island. In this sea area where it is impossible to even grasp the exact position, the only thing we can rely on is the magnetic force recorded by the recording pointer. First of all, you have to choose one of the 7 magnetic lines extending from this upside-down mountain. However, no matter which island you start from, the route will eventually be fixed on a line, and then you will eventually reach that island. Rav drew the end of the Great Line. Only one piece has ever reached that island in history. It can be said to be a legendary island. After Kuroda's and Su Tsung finished speaking, the Straw Hat's understanding of the Great Channel deepened a lot. Then, it should be there. One Piece? Usopp said. Who knows? Although this theory is the most convincing, no one has been there. Kuroda said. Aren't you the ship's doctor of One Piece? Usopp asked. Look! What's flying in the sky? Kuroda said. Everyone then turned their heads, and when they looked back, Kuroda's was already preparing to leave. Knowing that Kuroda's didn't want to talk about things related to Roger, everyone naturally stopped pressing him. Then, because Luffy ate all the food cooked by Sanji, Sanji attacked Luffy, and Nami's record pointer was eventually damaged. You guys. Do you know the importance of this thing? Nami was about to get angry, but Kuroda still waved his hand. Don't worry, I'll give you mine as a thank you for saving Laboon. Kuroda's finally handed his pointer to Nami, who kept it properly. However, at this time Vivi and his partner suddenly appeared, lowered their attitude, and said, We have something to ask for. Later, they told Luffy and others about their idea of going to Whiskey Peak. Whiskey Peak? What is that? Luffy asked. The first stop of one of the great routes. Su Tsung reminded, and everyone finally understood. Yes, it's still the town where we live. Our boat is broken, Mr. Nine said. Why do you think we will help you? You just wanted to kill Laboon, right? Nami asked. Who are you? Mr. Nine replied. I am the king. Who would believe it? Nami couldn't help complaining. Vivi said. I can't say. However, we want to go back to town, and we don't want to be so sneaky. But no matter what, our company is always mysterious, so we can't say anything, Mr. Nine and Vivi said. Then everyone turned their attention to Su Tsung. What do you want me to do? Su Tsung asked. Prophet, tell me, should we take them there? Will they stab us in the back? The crowd asked. When Su Tsung saw this, he wiped the sweat from his forehead. Unexpectedly, these friends really regarded him as a prophet. Wait a moment. Su Tsung had no choice but to make a fuss, and then said, I already know your identities. I see, you are agents of Baroque Works. After Su Tsung finished speaking, the two of them instantly became a lot nervous. Their identities are top secret, and it is naturally impossible for ordinary people to know. However, they did not expect that Su Tsung could only add, one is a fake king and the other is a princess? Su Tsung's words made Vivi look nervous. Not only was her identity as an agent known, she didn't expect that her hidden identity was also guessed. How long has it been? You are still joking. Nami urged. Should we take them with us? Su Tsung? Please. We are here to ask for help because of your character. We will definitely repay this kindness. The two asked again, hoping that everyone could give them a ride. But Kuroda said, No matter what they say, these guys are not good people. Take them with you, that's my suggestion. Su Tsung thought about it for a moment, then nodded and said, Really? Su Tsung? Are you sure you want to bring these two people with you? The companions on the boat confirmed again and again. But having said that, this should be the last record pointer. If it breaks, there will be no more. If they don't follow us, they may never be able to go back. Nami said. Okay, then come up. Seeing that no one had any objections, and Su Tsung also agreed, Luffy naturally let them come up. You said you were going to Whiskey Peak, right? Then go there. Luffy confirmed. Because Su Tsung also agreed, the others were embarrassed to say anything. Of course, they were still wary of the two. After all, these two were so-called bad guys. Okay, it's almost time to set off, Luffy said. Who are you? Princess Vivi asked. I want to become One Piece, Luffy said firmly. Haha, stupid pirate. Vivi and his partner snickered. And then, under the setting sun, Luffy and others announced their departure. We bid farewell to Kalotas and Laboon the whale, and galloped like the wind on the sea. But this time it was strange. Although he had already left Gemini Cape, the system did not appear for a long time. Su Tsang had no choice but to call the system directly. System, what's going on? Why is there no reward prompt this time? The system immediately responded. Hello host, Twin Capes are not within the scope of the check-in. Our check-in locations are limited to the main islands we have visited with Luffy, such as the islands on the Grand Route. After hearing this, Su Tsang nodded in disappointment and said, I see, I understand. Host, don't be so disappointed. You will definitely look forward to the rewards on the Great Channel. Because compared to the islands in the East China Sea, those rewards are really powerful, the system reminded. Okay, I understand. Now that you've said so, I can't say anything else. While sailing on the sea, Su Tsang was naturally refining chakra in his room. However, Su Tsang hadn't been refining for long when suddenly there was a knock on the door. Dong dong dong! Who is it? Su Tsang asked. Hello, Mr. Su Tsang, I am Miss Wednesday. It turns out it's you. If something happens, come in and say, the door is unlocked. After Su Tsang finished speaking, Princess Vivi entered Su Tsang's room. After Princess Vivi entered Su Tsang's room, she was a little shocked. He was obviously an unruly young man at his most arrogant age, but he didn't expect that the room was spotless. All the clothes were folded neatly, and there was a faint fragrance. The house is tidy and has no peculiar smell. She is either a transvestite or a gay. Although many of Su Tsang's friends said this about Su Tsang in the original world, most of the people who said this to him were old men who did not understand exquisite life. As for those exquisite people are naturally more willing to get along with Su Tsang. What's the matter? Miss Wednesday? Or should I call you Princess? Su Tsang said. After Princess Vivi entered Su Tsang's room, she was a little shocked. He was obviously an unruly young man at his most arrogant age, but he didn't expect that the room was spotless. All the clothes were folded neatly, and there was a faint fragrance. The house is tidy and has no peculiar smell. She is either a transvestite or a gay. Although many of Su Tsang's friends said this about Su Tsang in the original world, most of them were old men who didn't understand exquisite life. As for those exquisite people are naturally more willing to get along with Su Tsang. What's the matter? Miss Wednesday? Or should I call you Princess? Su Tsang said. Can you really know everything? Everyone says you are a seer or a prophet. Do you think you can really predict the future? Princess Vivi was a little anxious, but she still forced herself not to be so anxious. I'm not a prophet, it's just that I know some things. Su Tsang pretended silently. You are the Princess of Alabasta. You secretly sneaked into the Baroque Works and became their agent, codenamed Mississippi. On Wednesday, I said that's right? Princess Vivi was silent, she didn't dare to admit it. Since you don't speak, you are acquiescing? The reason why you sneaked into Baroque Works is to find out one thing, which is the real cause of drought and war in your country? Am I right? Su Tsang said again. The revealed information completely convinced Princess Vivi. Prophet Su Tsang, what should I do? Princess Vivi asked very cryptically. We can't tell you. At this moment, Nami came in quietly from the door, and then closed the door firmly. Su Tsang had long known that Nami was eavesdropping outside, but he was not sure what Nami wanted to do. However, there were actually 2 girls in the room at this time, which felt very good. I never thought you were really a princess. If we help you, at least give us some reward, Nami said. You heard it. Vivi didn't know what to say. Seeing this, Su Tsang immediately smoothed things over and said, Nami, since you have heard it, I will tell you straight away. Princess Vivi's country is in a state of emergency. The reason why she lurked in as an agent is to find out some truth. Although we can't give us many Baileys now, when we get there, we can ask the king directly? What do you think? Su Tsang said very reasonably, and even Nami nodded in agreement. How about this? you two pretend that you have never been to my place before and proceed according to your original plan," Soot Singh said. "But Whiskey Peak." Just as Vivi was about to continue, Soot Singh said, "Okay, stop talking, I'm a prophet. If you say it, we won't be able to help you. Let's go." In this way, Nami and Vivi left Soot Sing's room. The episode passed like this, and not long after, the Melee had reached a new sea area. The sun was shining brightly one moment, but it suddenly started to snow heavily at this moment. However, after a while, the Melee was covered with thick snow, which made everyone very confused, but the most confused one was naturally the navigator Nami. Even though she couldn't help but start complaining. "What's going on with this heavy snow? It was so warm just now." At this time, Luffy Usopp had already started piling snowmen on the deck and started a snowball fight. Why are those guys so energetic even though they are wearing so little and it's so cold? Nami doesn't understand at all what Luffy and the others are thinking. Sanji was so obedient that he shoveled the snow on the deck with a shovel. However, soon, the sky began to thunder, and then the clouds gathered and strong winds began to blow. "What the hell kind of weather is this? Nami really can't figure out what's going on with this weather. It was sunny until just now, and then it suddenly snowed, and then it thundered, and the seasons and weather were all messed up." Princess Vivi and Mr. Nine heard Nami's complaint, and then said, "Just like Soot Sing and Kuro's Tao said, this is the Great Channel, but you guys don't seem to know anything. You haven't been at the helm since just now, is it okay?" Vivi asked. "I've confirmed the direction, and it should be fine." At this time, Nami walked to the direction of the helm, only to find that someone was already there to take the helm. "Soot Sing? Why are you at the helm?" Nami asked in confusion. "How big is your heart? On the Great Waterway, you actually adjusted the direction and then ignored it. The ship has long been blown off course, and I have tried my best to stabilize the direction." After Soot Sing finished speaking, only then did Nami see that the direction on the record pointer had actually shifted. This was Soot Sing's state of being as stable as possible. Without Soot Sing, the entire ship would probably never be able to leave this sea area. Immediately afterwards, the weather changed again, and heavy fog suddenly began to form around it. It was difficult to see what was above the sea, but soon Usopp said in shock, "Wow! There are icebergs ahead!" Because the ship was too fast and there was no time to avoid it, Soot Sing directly pulled out his Shura Dao. Aye aye. Immediately afterwards, Shura took out his sheath, and the entire iceberg disappeared in place. The Mary was able to pass safely. At this time, Zoro was still sleeping. There really is no one left. Why are these people so big-hearted? It doesn't matter if the sky falls. This was followed by a series of questions. Why is the bottom of the boat leaking? Hurry up and fix it. The clouds are moving so fast. A storm is coming. Quickly furl the sail, otherwise the boat will capsize. Nami is doing the work of command, and Soot Sing is also working very hard to repair the melee. I don't know how long it took, but everyone fell to the ground tiredly. Zoro stretched his body and said, "I woke up." Then he walked onto the deck and saw the people lying on the deck one after another. He said, "Hey, even if the weather is nice, you are too lazy, right? You should still be there. On the flight path, right?" Immediately afterwards, everyone gave Zoro a hard hammer, and even Zoro himself didn't know what he had done wrong. The weather in the Grand Waterway is really bad. Even I don't know how to deal with it, but even so, there will always be a way. The proof is, look. The first leg of the voyage is over. Nami pointed to the distance. Sure enough, everyone saw a new island. Everyone's faces were full of excitement. But Soot Sing is also very happy. After all, this is the first island in the Great Channel, and he is about to receive better rewards. What a wonderful island! What a big cactus! It seems we are almost there. This is the Whiskey Mountain Peak. Soot Sing said. Now that we're here, thank you all for giving us a ride. Let's say goodbye. As he spoke, Vivi and his partner turned around and jumped into the water, trying to complete the show. In order to follow Su Tsung's plan, Vivi could only pretend that she had never seen Su Tsung. There is a river in front of you. If you walk along this river, you can see the mountains on the left and right. It seems you can go inland by boat. Nami said. There won't be any monsters, right? Usopp said very worriedly. The possibilities are as high as possible. Don't forget, this is the Grand Waterway. Sanji said seriously. If you encounter a monster, just run away from the island, right? Luffy looked fearless. Wait a minute, don't forget, we have to stay on this island for a while. If the entire recording pointer does not record the magnetism of this island, we will not be able to go to the next island. Because the speeds recorded on different islands are different, some islands can be cured in a few hours, but some islands require several days. Nami explained. What's the meaning? That is to say, even if this is a monster island that must be escaped immediately, it must stay here until the magnetic recording is completed? Usopp realized that something was wrong. That's it. Nami nodded. What are you afraid of? I'm here. You can get whatever you want on the Grand Line, but it still can't hinder us. Su Tsung encouraged everyone, and Usopp and others regained their confidence. Su Tsung is right. If you really encounter a monster, you can just think about what to do when the time comes. Luffy said with a smile. Let's go. It's useless just thinking about it. Let's go. Zoro said the same. No matter what happens, I will protect Miss Nami. Sanji was still attentive to Nami. Then, we are about to go in. Listen, don't forget to be prepared to escape and fight. Nami said, looking at the people on the left and right. Gradually, the Golden Merly sailed into the inland, and there was a burst of smoke around it, making it difficult to see what was there. In the heavy fog, Su Tsung could clearly feel that some people were watching them somewhere. The deeper you go, the more people you see around you. Everyone be careful. Nami, Luffy and other friends have also noticed that something is wrong. However, when the smoke dissipated, it was discovered that countless townspeople were standing on the left and right banks, and these townspeople were shouting loudly. Welcome! Welcome to the first stop of the Great Waterway. Welcome to our town. Welcome to the hospitable town of Whiskey Mountain. The excitement and joy of these townspeople did not seem to be fake, they seemed to sincerely hope that pirates would come to their town. Not only are there no monsters, we are also welcomed. Usopp also felt very puzzled. I say, don't take it lightly, these people are not good people. Su Tsung's words made everyone wary again. However, Luffy was immersed in happiness. Pirates! Welcome! Heroes of the sea! Long live! With the enthusiasm of these people, everyone quickly put Su Tsung's words behind them and gradually let down their guard. Su Tsung had nothing to do about this. Who told him to go to sea with Luffy? The ship finally stopped at a port, and a man with curly hair who looked very much like a musician said, Juan Mama, welcome everyone, my name is Ikarim, and I am currently the manager of Whiskey Mountain Mayor. My name is Luffy, uncle, is your hair too curly? Luffy pointed at Ikarim and said, This is a town famous for its brewing and music. Whiskey Mountain. Hospitality is what we are most proud of. There are as many fine wines as the sea that we are proud of. Let me use your adventure stories so far as a guide. Come and enjoy the banquet with me. Ahem. Well, how about enjoying the banquet together? Ikarim asked. Very happy. Sanji, Luffy, and Usopp have been completely brainwashed. 3 idiots. Nami cursed and then asked. I said, how long will it take to record the magnetism on this island? Record? Let's put aside such boring things for now and relieve the fatigue of the journey. Come on. Let's prepare for the banquet. Let's entertain the adventurers. Ikarim hugged Nami's shoulders enthusiastically. Zoro didn't say much. He liked wine the most. When he heard that there was wine, he naturally let down his guard. Seeing this, Su Tsung had no choice but to temporarily follow everyone to attend the banquet hosted by Ikarim. For a whole afternoon, everyone was immersed in the crazy banquet. Music, beer, food. Usopp boasted unscrupulously, while Ikaram hosted the cheers competition. Even Nami participated in the competition with money at stake. Not to mention Zoro, who drank himself unconscious. As for Luffy, he perfectly displayed his overeating characteristics. He regarded meat as his staple food and ate one plate after another, leaving everyone speechless. Sanji, on the other hand, hangs out with girls, talks sweetly, and looks very sweet. Sootsung, on the other hand, was so bored that he played marbles with a group of people, which no one expected. However, since Sootsung already knew the identity of this group of people, he was naturally on guard. Seeing the situation in front of him, Ikaram said, "Oh. Well, it's a very pleasant night. It's great to see everyone so happy." Time passed little by little. In the drinking competition, Nami won, but she also fainted on the spot. Luffy, on the other hand, fell to the ground when he was full and fell asleep. As for Usopp and Sanji, they both lay down happily and fell asleep. When Sootsung saw this, he fell to the ground and pretended to be asleep. Everyone in the Straw Hat team was already asleep at this time. Before Ikaram left, he said, "You are tired from playing. Have you fallen asleep? I wish you a sweet dream. Adventurers. Tonight, the cactus rocks dancing under the moonlight are also very beautiful." Next, Ikaram met Princess Vivi and her partner. Finally, Ikaram revealed their bounty list. What? 30 million Baileys. I didn't expect that the edible Straw Hat Boy would have so many rewards. Could it be a mistake? The three Baroques looked like they couldn't believe it. There is absolutely no mistake, it is them, and there is someone with a higher reward than him. Take a closer look. Ikaram finally showed Sootsung's reward list. What? 50 million. Bailey. Everyone was shocked. No way? Just them? There will be 50 million. Belly? Ikaram then educated. It's stupid to judge the abilities of pirates based on their appearance, miss. Well, Mississippi Monday. But forget it, it seems that I can report the good news to the boss. Hurry up and get the treasure on their ship. Ikaram said. So, what about them? If you kill them, the reward will be reduced by 30%, because the government wants to publicly execute them, so go ahead. Capture them alive. Ikaram ordered. However, at this time, a voice came under the moonlight. I'm sorry, can you let them sleep well? Everyone is very tired from the day's sailing. The person who spoke was none other than Zoro. He raised a knife high and sat on the roof. A group of people rushed out of the room nervously and said, Mr. 8 Miss. On Monday, at some point, the man wearing a loincloth escaped from the house. He's right there, Princess Vivi said. Ikaram asked very puzzledly. You guys, shouldn't you be completely asleep? As a swordsman, I cannot be killed by careless fools like you at any time. Zoro said. That's what it is. This is the lair of bounty hunters. The pirates who came to the Grand Line triumphantly will be robbed as soon as they come up. There are about 100 bounty hunters here, right? I will be your opponent, Baroque Works. Zoro directly read out all these people's companies. Why do you know the name of our company? Ikaram was shocked. When I was doing your job before, your company once wanted to recruit me, but of course I refused. The employees in the company don't know each other's origins at all, and they only refer to each other by code names. Of course, the boss's location and even his true identity are a mystery to the members. It's a criminal group that just faithfully follows orders. Baroque Company, this is a secret, right? Zoro's feeling made all the bounty hunters on Cactus Island shudder. Really, I thought I was the only smart one. Sootsung slowly walked out of the room. What? How is it possible? Why are you still awake? Ikaram and others were shocked again. Zoro was awake because he was wary. Why was the white-haired boy in front of him also awake? I already knew your identities, so I wasn't so enthusiastic at first. Then I pretended to be asleep because I wanted to see what you were going to do next, Sootsung said. Forget it, now that you know our secret, I can only kill you. Cactus Rock, there are 2 more tombstones, Ikaram said very bloodthirsty. Come on. After Ikaram finally announced the order to attack, Zoro and Su Tsang disappeared at the same time. Where did they go? Ikaram and others were looking around, but they could not find the two of them at all. Finally, Zoro and Su Tsang appeared in the center of the crowd without anyone noticing. Okay, let's start the fight, Zoro said. Compare it? Which one of us can cut down more people? How about the loser owes a good drink? Su Tsang suggested. Ha! Interesting. Come on. Zoro agreed. The bounty hunters in front of them directly raised their guns and started shooting at the two of them. Dong dong dong! However, the two disappeared at the same time again, causing the bounty hunter's bullets to hit his companions one after another. These idiots! They actually beat their own people. Ikaram was also very angry. Quickly kill them! They're just two swordsmen. As soon as Ikaram finished speaking, Zoro's knife was already inserted into Ikaram's big curly hair. Let me ask you something. Just add one more tombstone, right? Zoro asked. At this time, the bounty hunters pointed their guns at Ikaram, and then planned to pull the trigger. You are planning to kill me too! Saxophone shotgun! Immediately afterwards, Ikaram knocked all the bounty hunters in front of him to the ground. At this time, Zoro actually took the opportunity to hide behind the wall. You are carrying such a dangerous thing. Is that a shotgun? Look, even we have to take them very seriously. These two guys are very strong, the Baroque agents said to each other. Humph! Do you really want to use two people to deal with all of us? Ikaram said. This doesn't look like something you would say after understanding our Baroque works society. Miscellaneous! Zoro, don't be a coward, come together. Su Tsang saw Zoro hiding, so naturally he took the initiative to show up. Although countless bullets flew towards Su Tsang could easily change the direction of the bullets just by relying on the scabbard. Su Tsang's sword is no longer so hard, but is both hard and soft, capable of cutting off water and metal. Quick! Everyone! Besiege this guy! Even if it means consuming him, he will be consumed to death! Ikaram ordered. But what level of person is Su Tsang? During his growth period, someone who could equal the world's strongest swordsman, Hawkeye, would have no problem dealing with a group of bounty hunters. Su Tsang was just trying to rejuvenate his muscles. If he really wanted to kill someone, he would have pulled out his shura long ago. But now, just using the scabbard to knock down dozens of people. Is this the 50 million belly pirate, just using the scabbard? Is it because we are not worthy enough for him to pull out the sword? Ikaram and others were also stunned. The strength is not in the same dimension at all. At this time, Zoro was also discovered by this group of bounty hunters, and then both were surrounded by bounty hunters. Finally, Mississippi Monday took action, suppressing Zoro at first, but soon, Zoro pinched Mississippi Monday's head tightly and finally pushed her to the ground. How scary! These guys! Ikaram also took a step back in fear. Mr. 9, Mississippi Wednesday, let's take action together! Ikaram said to the others, and then immediately used his proud skills. Saxophone! Su Tsang didn't move at all, he just waved the scabbard in his hand at an extremely fast speed, and actually hit the fired shotguns to other locations. Mississippi Wednesday! Come together! Mr. 9 said. Hot-blooded number 9 backflip. Mr. 9 just rolled down from a high altitude, and then said, The stick of perseverance. Su Tsang blocked these attacks very easily. Ha ha! This is a metal rod. Don't bend your knife. Mr. 9 said proudly. Are you an idiot? Why don't you go to the hospital and get a brain exam first? Su Tsang kicked Mr. 9 to Zoro's place. Even Zoro completely suppressed Mr. 9. It has to be said that the Baroque agent without fruit abilities is the weakest character on the scene, although he is probably stronger than the Million Elder. In the end, Zoro defeated Mr. 9 with little effort. Be prepared, Mr. Bushido. Come on. Taste my beauty. Princess Vivi stood on the fast runner and exposed the perfume on her hand. Look at my charming perfume dance. Then Princess Vivi started dancing. After Zoro smelled the smell, he lost all strength and squatted on the spot. Princess Vivi then turned the peacock saw in her hand and rushed towards Zoro. As a result, she ran too fast and ended up falling from the room. I'm really ashamed of myself for fighting these guys. Zoro felt helpless at this time. But at this time, Tsutsung cut down more than half of the bounty hunters one after another. All the bounty hunters still standing were at a loss. Tsutsung's strength was so strong that they had no power to fight back. It's really nerve-wracking. Ikarim wanted to rescue him at this time, but he had to fight Zoro in front of him. At this time, Mr. Nine locked one of Zoro's arms, and Princess Vivi captured Luffy and took him hostage. Ikarim shouted, "Curly cannon!" There were many cannonballs hidden under his big curly hair, and then he fired them at Zoro. Is he a big toy? At the most critical moment, Zoro pulled hard, and Mr. Nine, who had locked Zoro's arm with a chain, was thrown away, becoming Zoro's shield. Zoro then swung the chain and easily knocked Princess Vivi away. Curly cannon! Ikarim launched another attack on Zoro. At this critical moment, Zoro stepped on Luffy's stomach, then bounced into the air, and drew his sword to slash at Ikarim. Base! Ikarim's blood spattered instantly, and he finally fell to the ground. But when he looked back, he found that all the bounty hunters had been knocked to the ground by Tsutsung. Tsutsung's entire body was spotless, as if he hadn't done anything at all. It's finally a quiet night again, Zoro said. You lost? You owe me a good drink, Tsutsung said. I just happened to play against a more difficult character, and you dealt with an easier character. Forget it, it was just a good drink, and I lost. Zoro then smiled. At this time, another explosion occurred somewhere. Is this? Zoro was also shocked and said, Is there any remaining party? That's about it. I think Baroque's more senior agents should have come out too, right? Tsutsung also roughly guessed something. Ikarim crawled on the ground desperately, saying, I can't die, I still have a special mission. At this time a voice rang. It's so pitiful that you would lose to a mere swordsman. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the speaker. The person on the left is a woman holding an umbrella, while the person on the right is a man wearing a windbreaker and sunglasses. Mississippi Valentine's Day. Mr. Five. Are you kidding me? Mr. Five asked. Ha ha. After all, it's just the difference in our levels, right? Mississippi Valentine said. Are you here to laugh at us? Ikarim asked. It does have this purpose. Of course I'm here to perform a mission. At this time, Mr. Nine said very gratefully, If you come to help, those guys are no match at all. Yes, please defeat that swordsman quickly, Princess Vivi said. Stop making such silly jokes, let's help you. Do you think we came to a remote corner of the Grand Line just to help you? Ha ha! Mississippi Valentine and Mr. Five said together. What's that for? Mr. Nine asked curiously. The criminal that the boss can send us here to deal with is right here. That's what the boss said. My secret has been known. Although of course I don't know what the secret is, the company's motto is mystery. No one in the company can trace the origins of anyone. This is the rule. If someone knows the boss's secret, of course there is only death. Mr. Five said. So we went to find out who knew the boss's secret, ha ha ha. The result was really incredible. We found that an important figure from a certain kingdom had actually sneaked into our Baroque works. Mississippi Valentine's Day said. Wait a minute! Although I wear a crown, I am not a king. This is my interest. Mr.9 quickly explained. It's not you. The sinner is the one whose whereabouts are currently unknown in the kingdom of Alabasta. Before Mr. Five finished speaking, Ikarim took the initiative to attack them. Curly Cannon. I won't let you touch a hair on the princess. Bet on me the title of captain of the Alabasta Kingdom Guards. Ikarim was very determined, but he didn't hurt Mr. Five and Miss Valentine at all. Ikarim, the captain of the Alabasta Kingdom Guards, and the princess, Nefertali Vivi, have been ordered by the boss of Baroque Works to kill you, Mr. Five announced. At this time, Zoro said, I see, Suit-san, have you already known the identities of these guys? Including the princess named Vivi? Of course. Suit-san smiled faintly, making people feel very mysterious. What about Luffy? He's still down there. Zoro said. Don't worry, let's see how things develop first. Suit-san is not in a hurry to take action at this time. If everything goes as he thinks, then Vivi and others will definitely save the day. Hurry! Princess Vivi! Run away quickly! At this time, Ikaram continued to attack Mr. 5. However, at this time, Mr. 5 seemed to have bounced something over, and it hit Ikaram's body instantly, followed by an explosion. Ikaram eventually fell to the ground. Ikaram! Princess Vivi shouted with great concern. It's useless. Haha. Mississippi Valentine fell from the sky and easily broke the iron ring used to tie Vivi's hair. Vivi's hair fell down instantly. Monster! Vivi cursed. So you are a princess? Mississippi Wednesday? Mr. 9 knelt down on the spot with great respect. Stop doing stupid things, Mr. 9. Vivi scolded. Good opportunity. Let's go. Zoro took this opportunity to grab Luffy and ran towards the other side. It's such a noisy night, you can fight whatever you want. Princess Vivi! Leave me alone. Leave quickly. Ikaram said in great pain. Do you think you can escape from our grasp? Mr. 5 said while picking his nose. Don't underestimate people. Princess Vivi turned her earrings. She was not just surrendering. But Mr. 9 said very loyally this time. Although I don't understand the situation, but considering that we have been partners for so long, I am here to buy some time for you. Let's go quickly, Mississippi Wednesday. Immediately afterwards, Mr. 9 attacked MR5. All we need is the will to complete the mission. Boring companionship will only lead to death. You should understand this. Nose. Mr. 5 popped the booger out, and then a big explosion occurred. In the end, Mr. 9 was blown away after just one encounter. At this time, Ikaram grabbed the leg of Suit-sang who was approaching and said, Master Swordsman, seeing that you are so strong, I have a merciless request. Because of that duo, both of them have devil fruit abilities, so we can't stop them. Can you protect the princess on my behalf? Ikaram asked. Well, Suit-sang didn't think about it for a long time, and then immediately said, I'm afraid I have to apply to our captain for this matter. But before that, please rest assured that this princess named Vivi absolutely will not be killed. Suit-sang said very calmly. Seeing that there was at least a glimmer of hope, Ikaram finally breathed a sigh of relief. If you can escort Princess Vivi to the great country in the Far East, the Kingdom of Alabasta, you will definitely get a great reward. Seeing that Suit-sang was inclined to agree, Ikaram immediately persuaded him. At this time, Princess Vivi had already ridden fast and left here. At this time, Nami suddenly appeared. After chatting with Ikaram for a few words, she set the price to save the princess. I said we don't need to wait for Luffy to make a decision. Alabasta seems to be the only place we must pass, and don't you already know the identity of Princess Vivi? Nami looked at Suit-sang and said, In that case, let's agree to him for the time being. Suit-sang agreed to Ikaram, and the next step was to protect Princess Vivi. At this time, Miss Valentine and Mr. 5 were already chasing after them, and naturally Suit-sang and others also chased after them. At this time, Princess Vivi was sitting and running, leaving Whiskey Mountain as fast as possible. Run! There is a boat parked behind the cactus rock. Let's take that boat to leave here and return to Alabasta. However, when Princess Vivi was riding the speedster, she suddenly felt the impact of an explosion. Stop! After Princess Vivi stopped, she carefully observed the source of the explosion, but saw a figure in the thick smoke. This person turned out to be Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine. Run! Princess Vivi immediately turned around and left. It's useless, this is a pointless struggle, Mr. 5 said. Princess Vivi didn't slow down at all and continued to gallop. She suddenly saw the King Kong Barbie-like Mississippi Monday. You can find the boat from here. I'll stop them here. Mississippi said very loyally on Monday. But Princess Vivi was interrupted by Mississippi Monday just as she was about to say something. No matter what, we will be punished for failing the mission. Since we are all going to die anyway, then I would rather die to protect my friends. Go ahead. Mississippi Monday stood on the spot with a huge branch, blocking Mr. Point 5 and Mississippi Valentine's Day. I will never let you pass here, I swear on my dignity. Ha ha. Mississippi Monday, how ridiculous. You are a disgrace to Baroque works. Mr. 5 rushed in front of Mississippi Monday at an extremely fast speed, and again, with just one move, he killed Mississippi Monday. One was defeated. Mr. 5 then couldn't help but start introducing himself. I am an explosive person who can detonate all over my body. With the power of this explosive fruit, there is no task that I cannot complete. Mr. 5 said. Ha ha. Just use the power of my light fruit to bury the traitor, Mississippi Monday, under the ground. Mississippi Valentine soared into the air and hung in the air very easily. I can change my weight freely. Now I am light enough to fly on the wind. Look, now I have to gradually increase my own weight. Mississippi Valentine's fall was getting faster and faster. In a short time, her weight increased to 10,000 kilograms, and then she hit an open space heavily. The entire ground was completely smashed, and the power was extremely shocking. After showing off his power, Mississippi Valentine and Mr. 5 said, How was it? Even so, do you think you can escape alive? You will never escape our grasp. The words of the two put a lot of pressure on Princess Vivi. Although Princess Vivi didn't have much confidence, she still cheered firmly. I will go back alive. I will go back to Alabasta alive. Ha! At this time, Mr. 5 was ready to break Princess Vivi's fantasy with reality. He started picking his nose again, then flicked it out and shouted, Nose is empty. At this moment, a figure flashed in front of Princess Vivi. Wearing a handsome devil windbreaker, a handsome white back, and a long Zanpakuto Shura on his waist, this person's identity is already very obvious. Su Tsang. At this time, Su Tsang didn't make any unnecessary movements, he just waved the scabbard in his hand gently. Immediately afterwards there was a bang. Around Su Tsang, an explosion occurred, and black smoke suddenly billowed around him. However, when the black smoke dissipated, it could be seen that these explosions had no effect on Su Tsang and Vivi. Su Tsang. Princess Vivi was surprised at first, and then looked at the road in surprise. At this time, the road surface had been completely blown to pieces, but they were unscathed. At this time, Mr. 5 and Mississippi Valentine focused their attention on Su Tsang, and then asked, How can he withstand our explosion? It seems that there are two brushes. Is that you? The guy who knocked down all the bounty hunters in this whole town. Why do you want to protect the Princess of Alabasta? Su Tsang then said, There is no reason. If you have to tell me the reason, maybe it was just a matter of chance? It's a good reason, but it doesn't matter. No matter what, you are our enemy, right? It's such a hindrance. Mr. 5 said. Yeah. It's really annoying. Miss Valentine said the same. However, at this moment a very angry voice came out. Found it! Su Tsang! Su Tsang patted his head. He didn't expect Luffy to wake up. Looking at Luffy's posture at this time, he was afraid that he might have misunderstood him. I will never forgive you! Let's fight! Luffy roared. Let me fight you off for being an ungrateful person like you! Luffy then added. You actually welcomed us on this island so well, and even let you eat and drink well. Not a single one of you was left behind. If you chop it down, I will never spare you! Princess Vivi complained at the side. What a slow guy! Even the fast runner nodded at this time. Is there internal strife? Mr. 5 seemed to understand what happened. Can't we just kill all the people who hinder us from carrying out our mission? Mississippi Valentine said nonchalantly. At this time, Luffy had already rushed towards Su Tsang with all his strength. Zoro was standing by to help Su Tsang explain, but it was no longer useful. Luffy had completely fallen into anger. Luffy stretched out his fist and hit him, but Su Tsang slowly turned sideways and easily dodged Luffy's rubber pistol. Immediately afterwards, Luffy kicked him again and hit his head. However, Su Tsang managed to escape by relying on his weird body skills. Seeing Luffy being so serious, even Mr. Five and Miss Valentine said, "It seems they don't want to hinder us." "Yes, in that case, let's complete the task quickly." Mr. Five then prepared to kill Vivi. However, at this time, Zoro was already standing in front of Princess Vivi. "Although I don't know what these two guys are doing, but before that, you are absolutely not allowed to kill this princess." Zoro also received the latest instructions from Su Tsang and Nami just now, which is to protect the princess. "Luffy, out of courtesy, I have given you 3 moves. Next I will fight back. You don't want to die." Su Tsang felt that this was a good time to beat Luffy. "Come on. Who's afraid of you?" Luffy was blinded by anger, and he waved his rubber trick at Su Tsang desperately. At this time, Su Tsang had also used his demonic power. Not only did he block all of Luffy's attacks, he was even better. The demonic fist finally came out, knocking the rounded Luffy away with one punch. Coincidentally, when Luffy was knocked away, Mr. Five and his partner Miss Valentine were also affected. The 3 of them hit a wall almost at the same time before stopping. "Really? What the hell are you doing? Since you like killing each other so much, let's kill you two too. How about that?" Then Mr. Five used his ability to bomb the fruit, and then Mississippi Valentine used the bomb blast to create the airflow flew in the air. "Go to hell! Let me kill you with the light and fluffy fruit. Get ready!" I flew into the sky along with the explosive airflow, and now I only weigh 1 kilogram. Mississippi Valentine looked at Su Tsang and said, "Mr. Su Tsang, get away from that woman. Princess Vivi has seen the power of the light fruit. I don't have time to pay attention to her now. No matter what, my opponent is still Luffy." After Su Tsang finished speaking, Princess Vivi opened her eyes wide. Luffy in front of her was actually walking toward them with Mr. Five in one hand. At the same time, the bloated body from eating had disappeared and returned to Luffy's original body size. "I finally digested everything I ate," Luffy said. "It's a lie. Baroque's senior agent, Mr. Five, actually." Princess Vivi couldn't believe the scene in front of her. "I'm talking about Luffy, these guys are bounty hunters. They deliberately gave us food and then took the opportunity to catch us. Nami, Zoro, and I all know this." Su Tsang took advantage of this gap to explain. "Impossible. It's impossible for the enemy to give us delicious food," Luffy said firmly. "It seems that no matter what I say, it's of no use." Su Tsang shook his head. Now Luffy couldn't persuade him anymore, and he himself was not good at persuading others. "In that case, let's decide the outcome." Su Tsang's eyes had turned into double Magatama Sharingan, and they were firmly locked on Luffy. Mississippi Valentine fell from the sky at this time, and increased her body weight to 10,000 kilograms. However, Su Tsang just turned sideways slightly, and Valentine's day hit the ground hard. To deal with Luffy, Su Tsang did not plan to use his sword skills, but planned to use the power of the devil fruit to beat Luffy severely. These guys, really, have to kill each other at this time? Zoro didn't know what to say at this time. The person who was misunderstood was originally Zoro, but unexpectedly it was Su Tsang who was misunderstood by Luffy. "Aren't you all in the same group? What the hell is going on?" Princess Vivi also felt that the matter was really inexplicable. Naturally, Luffy was the most incomprehensible, and he still didn't understand the whole story. Rubber bazooka. Luffy threw his hands behind him hard, then ran towards Su Tsang quickly, and finally threw his hands out. Devil impact. Su Tsang's devil fruit has completely attached itself to his body, and he used Sharingan to find the weak point of Luffy's attack. Su Tsang's impact was so terrifying that even Luffy was hit from the front. Crash. We haven't decided yet. Luffy's determination was obviously amazing. After being hit by a move, he rushed over again, followed by punch after punch. I know you are difficult to deal with, but it's not that easy to hit me. Su Tsang simply blocked the devil's wings in front of him, and Luffy's rubber machine gun quickly hit Su Tsang's wings. Superior. The defensive power of these wings was also terrifying to the extreme, and Su Tsang didn't even feel like he was being attacked at all. So hard. Luffy was obviously shocked. Get down to the ground. Su Tsang shouted. Devil's Fist. This huge force hit Luffy hard. Luffy crossed his hands and tried to resist with all his strength. However, he didn't expect that Su Tsang's move was also extremely powerful and actually stretched Luffy's hand like rubber. Go in. Boom! Su Tsang's punch broke through Luffy's defense and finally hit Luffy's chest. Luffy's whole body felt bad. He fell to his knees and couldn't breathe. At this time, Mr. Five and Miss Valentine came out and said, I didn't expect to be humiliated by such a guy. It really damages the reputation of the senior agents of Baroque Works. Mr. Five, let them see how terrible we really are. Come on. Mississippi Valentine's Day. Okay. Mr. Five. Two agents from Baroque Works rushed towards Su Tsang and Luffy. Don't underestimate our senior agents of Baroque Works. The two shouted loudly, but accidentally touched the back scales of Su Tsang and Luffy. It's so long-winded. It's so annoying. Don't come and hinder our duel. Su Tsang and Luffy just waved their hands, and the two agents of Baroque were beaten to the ground again. Just when Luffy was about to use his strongest trick against Su Tsang, a sudden punch knocked Luffy away. However, Su Tsang was very fast, and he dodged this man's attack. When Su Tsang looked up and saw that it was Nami, he immediately complained. Luffy thought I killed the bounty hunter on this island and insisted on fighting me. Zoro explained it together, but he still didn't listen. The clever Su Tsang diverted Nami's anger, and Nami then said angrily, Luffy, what on earth are you doing? Nami then beat Luffy with bruises all over his body, and finally said, Fortunately this girl is safe, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get 1 billion Baileys. Nami. Princess Vivi didn't say anything when she saw it was Nami. After all, Nami and Su Tsang were people who had known her identity for a long time. Then Nami, Zoro, Princess Vivi and others told Luffy the whole story. In this way, Luffy finally understood the whole story. Ha ha! Luffy smiled without embarrassment. What? Su Tsang! You told me earlier! I thought you cut them down because there was nothing you liked in the food. Who would apologize to me for such a boring reason? Su Tsang was also very direct. I'm sorry, Luffy said directly. Forget it, I forgive you. Knowing that Luffy was such a straightforward person, Su Tsang naturally didn't care. It was just that he didn't beat Luffy enough. After all, Luffy was a very resistant person. At this time, Nami also told Princess Vivi about Ikaram's agreement and what he promised them. That's the thing. I want a reward of 1 billion Baileys. You should know how powerful these guys are, right? Nami calculated very shrewdly. But Vivi said bluntly, That's impossible. I'm very grateful to you for saving me, thank you. Aren't you a princess? 1 billion shouldn't be difficult for you, right? Nami originally wanted the lion to open his mouth, but 1 billion is not much by the standards of a princess. Alabasta is in the midst of civil strife. In the past few years, people have been rioting one after another, and the country has become more and more chaotic. One day, I heard about an organization called Baroque Work Society. We learned that this organization has been inciting the people. But once the information is traced, you will find that all the clues have been cut off, and there is no way to start. So I asked Ikaram, who has taken good care of me since I was a child, to think about whether I could find a way to sneak into the Baroque Works. In this way, I can know the identity and purpose of the mastermind behind the scenes. So, have you figured out their purpose? Zoro asked. Well, to establish an ideal country. But although they say so on the surface, it is actually a big lie. Their real purpose is to seize the kingdom of Alabasta. They must return home quickly to tell everyone and quell the uprising of the citizens. So, who is that boss? Luffy asked curiously. I can't say it. If I say it, your lives will be in danger. Princess Vivi waved her hands quickly. That's right, no matter how powerful you are, you can't deal with him. One of the 7 warlords of the sea, Crocodile. Princess Vivi did not use the provoking method, she just let it slip. But just at this time, the unlucky duo knew about this and flew away. Nami almost collapsed, but Tsutsung, Luffy and Zoro, as the main fighting faction, naturally felt eager to try. I have to leave quickly before my appearance is exposed. Nami was about to leave, but was drawn by the unlucky duo again. In this way, Tsutsung, Zoro, Luffy, and Nami have become the inevitable targets of Baroque works. At this time, Ikarim came out wearing the same clothes as Princess Vivi. I fainted. Tsutsung almost fainted when he looked at Ikarim in front of him. Sir Vivi, please listen to me carefully. If you are targeted by Baroque Company, there will be people chasing you immediately, let alone knowing the boss's secret. It seems that there will be about 1,000 pursuers. Vivi said. So just like this, I pretended to be a princess, took 4 dummies, and took a boat directly back to the kingdom of Alabasta. While the pursuers were attracted to me, Lady Vivi and everyone sailed to the kingdom of Alabasta via the normal route. Ikarim said. Is Crocodile strong? Luffy asked. Yes, he is one of the Shichibukai, so there is no bounty from Marine, but before he became a Shichibukai, the bounty was 80 million belly. Ikarim said. Isn't 80 million 4 times that of Eren? Say no to it. Naturally, Nami didn't want to do this kind of loss-making business. She used to think it was profitable, but now it's pure charity, and her partners may also suffer. To life threats. Are you willing to send her back? Ikarim asked Tsutsung. This is our captain, I just listened to him. Tsutsung looked at Luffy and said. Luffy nodded and said, Go. Because it will be fun. Ah. Nami almost fainted. Thank you then. Ikarim then walked to the location of the ship with everyone, and then he took the permanent record pointer from Princess Vivi. What is a permanent pointer? Nami didn't understand. To put it simply, it is a permanent storage version of the record pointer. Unlike the record pointer which always points to the next island, the permanent pointer will never lose the magnetism of the recorded island, and will only point to that island forever. This is the pointer that records Alabasta. Ikarim said. In other words, Princess Vivi will return to Alabasta with the Straw Hats, while Ikarim will be the first to return to Alabasta to divert the attention of the pursuers of Baroque works. Then the princess is entrusted to you. Ikarim said. Be careful, this will be a difficult journey. As soon as the ship Ikarim was on left, a big explosion occurred on the ship. Bang! Smoke rose from the sea. How is that possible? The pursuers are coming now. Quick! The boat is sailing, Nami said. Vivi bit her lip in pain, and tears almost welled up in her eyes. When Nami saw Zhuang, she hugged Vivi and said, Don't worry. We will send you back safely. Even though they are a few, they also saved Dong Hai. So what about Baroque Company Limited? What about Shichibukai? We didn't take it seriously at all, Nami said. Immediately afterwards, Luffy quickly rushed back to where the villagers were entertaining him, grabbed Usopp's nose and Sanji's hair, and quickly dragged them to the Mary. Immediately afterwards, everyone raised their sails and followed the current to escape. How many pursuers will come? Zoro asked. I heard that there are several strongholds similar to this town nearby. There should be many, right? Vivi said. There was no words for a night, the night passed, and the sky was already dark. Everyone finally left Whiskey Mountain. We should be able to leave this island soon, Nami said. Awesome. It's foggy, Luffy said excitedly. It will be morning soon, Nami said. It was nice to escape from the pursuers. That's right, Nami said. Be sure not to let the boat hit the rocks. Leave it to me, Nami responded confidently. Is it Luffy who spoke just now? Nami asked, very confused. When they felt something was wrong and turned back, They saw a lady they had never seen before. It's a nice ship. At this time, a woman was sitting on the guardrail of the Nami and was looking at everyone with interest. You are. All the friends on the deck looked at the guardrail in shock. The woman wore a hat, had black hair, and slightly dark skin. At this time, she held up her face with one hand and said in a very playful manner, "Just now, I saw Mr. 8 over there. Mississippi Wednesday." Princess Vivi looked at the woman and said with great hostility, "It was you who gave Ikarim." "It doesn't matter, the question is why are you on our ship?" Luffy asked in a confused tone. "Who are you?" Everyone looked at Robin and asked. "Why are you here? Mississippi all Sunday?" Princess Vivi said. "Robin?" Suit Sung looked at Robin and thought to himself. "Ah? Whose partner is this time?" Nami asked. "She is Mr. Zero's boss partner," Princess Vivi responded. "What? Crocodiles?" Nami went crazy. This woman was the only one who knew the identity of the boss before. "We only found out the identity of the boss by following her," Princess Vivi said. "To be precise, I asked you to follow me," Robin said. "Is it you who told the boss that his identity was exposed?" Princess Vivi asked. "That's right," Robin responded with a smile. "What is your purpose?" Princess Vivi asked. But Robin looked very unconcerned and responded, "Who knows, I thought you were too serious, so I accidentally helped you and became the enemy of Baroque Works and wanted to save the country's princess is really stupid. Don't underestimate me." Princess Vivi rushed towards Robin impulsively, and the Straw Hats were all ready to fight. Of course, only Suit Sang didn't make any move, but slowly walked to the front of Robin. Immediately afterwards, Suit Sang actually called out Robin's real name. "Nicole Robin, it seems that you are not really serving Crocodile." Suit Sang's words made Robin's expression that was still laughing suddenly freeze. What did you call me?" Robin asked. None of the Straw Hats knew the situation, and Nami also repeated, "Nicole Robin? Suit Sang. Do you know her? Crocodile's goal, Alabasta, should be just a part of him. His real goal should be Pluton, one of the 3 ancient weapons, right? Robin, the text of history, should it be your goal?" Suit Sung's words made Luo Binbin didn't react at all. "It's impossible, my identity. How could the young man in front of me guess it? And how did he know about Pluton? Is he an undercover agent sent by the world government among the pirates? Who is this guy? He seems to know not only my past, but also Crocodile's goal. How is this possible?" Suit Sung's words made Robin's the inner turmoil is extremely complicated. Suit Sung opened his arms and made a very polite gesture, and then said, "You must be thinking, who am I? As you can see, I am just a crew member of this ship. One is just an unknown pirate on the sea. You must not take me too seriously," Suit Sung said while looking at Robin with a smile. "You are such an interesting person." Robin looked at Suit Sung and finally squeezed out a sentence. "Who are you?" Robin looked at Suit Sung and asked. Unexpectedly, Robin seemed to be very aware of Suit Sung's confidence, so he directly said, "If the pirate with a bounty of 50 million is also called the unknown pirate, then Crocodile should be nothing. I'm not here to fight. I didn't receive any instructions," Robin said truthfully. "The name of your next island is Little Garden. You guys can't reach Alabasta even if we don't take action, and you will definitely be wiped out," Robin said with great certainty. "We don't need you to take care of it," Luffy immediately retorted. "Don't you think it's stupid to destroy yourself step by step?" Robin asked. At this moment, Robin threw the permanent record pointer in his hand to Vivi. "You can use this to bypass the small garden. What this pointer indicates is an island with nothing but 1 step away from Alabasta. Because it is a route that even our company's employees don't know, there will be no pursuers," Robin explained. "What? Isn't she our enemy?" Nami asked in confusion. "Why are you giving me this?" Princess Vivi also felt very strange. Logically speaking, the other party should be her mortal enemy. It must be a trap, right? Zoro guessed that everyone on the ship did not trust Robin. However, what happened next, it is not difficult to guess. Luffy easily destroyed the record pointer. That guy killed Uncle Curly, so I hate him. That guy is not qualified to decide the course of this ship, Luffy said. It seems that even I can't change Luffy now, Soothsing said. I don't hate courageous men. If you can really reach Alabasta alive, let's meet again then. Robin was not angry. After she just finished speaking, she jumped up and sat on the big turtle. He slowly left. Robin, see you later. Robin naturally heard Soothsang's words, but Robin's trip was actually to make it easier for Luffy and Vivi. After all, Vivi's experience was similar to hers to a certain extent. Although Robin had to join the Baroque Cooperative in order to avoid Marine's pursuit, Robin was still kind at heart. This woman has no idea what she is thinking. Mr. Soothsang, you seem to know the identity of this woman? Princess Vivi asked. Yes, as the prophet on the ship, you must know a lot of things that we don't know. Can you tell us about this woman? Sanji's eyes have turned into red hearts. In that case, I will tell her story. Let's move towards the small garden while telling it. Immediately afterwards, the Mary sailed in the direction pointed by the next pointer, and Soothsang told everyone the story of Robin. Wow! This guy actually has a bounty of 20 million belly. Usopp was also a little surprised after hearing Robin's story. Yeah, I didn't expect this guy to carry so much at such a young age. I really didn't expect it. Nami didn't hate Robin so much at this time. You said Robin didn't kill Uncle Curly. Is that true? Luffy asked with some disbelief. I said it's true. You have to believe it. But we are not in a hurry, because we will meet sooner or later, Soothsing said. Unexpectedly, Luffy said at this moment. If this guy really didn't kill Uncle Curly, can we invite her to be our partner? Okay? Everyone wanted to refuse, especially Vivi. After all, the biggest enemy of her kingdom was the Baroque Works Society. We are not in a hurry. The most critical thing at the moment is to return Princess Vivi to Alabasta safely. After Soothsang diverted everyone's attention, everyone became much calmer. Because he arrived at the Whiskey Mountain Peak, which was also the first island on the Grand Route, Soothsang had just left here and immediately received the sound he had dreamed of. Ding ding ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully signed in at Whiskey Peak. Congratulations on getting the reward. Invulnerable to all poisons. Invulnerable to all poisons. As the name suggests, your resistance to toxins will be greatly enhanced. From now on, even if you are poisoned, you will be fine. The system's rewards are undoubtedly the happiest thing for Soothsang. Soothsang instantly felt that something was different about his body, as if he had gained a kind of immunity. System, that means I'm not afraid of poison now? Soothsang asked. That's understandable. The system responded. With the system's affirmative answer, Soothsang's confidence became much stronger. The crocodile he was about to face had poison on his hook. If he could be immune to the poison, Soothsang should be able to fight in the upcoming battle. Get the upper hand. Then, after some time, Nami walked to the deck, looked at his record pointer and said, That's the island after the cactus. Wow! Haha! Is that there? The second island on the Grand Line, Luffy said very excitedly. There is an island in the sea not far away. From a distance, this island has dense jungles and, of course, huge mountains. The ship slowly approached here, and Luffy couldn't help but ask questions. Is this called a small garden? What exactly is small? Zoro also couldn't figure it out. It doesn't look like a lovely place like its name. Nami then turned to Soothsang and asked, Why is it called a small garden? How do I know? Soothsang smiled bitterly and shook his head. These people really regarded themselves as gods. A place that even the prophets don't know about. This is simply a secret realm, Usopp said with great fear. There are dense forests everywhere here. I am very concerned about what Mississippi Allsunday said, Princess Vivi said very worriedly. Her words instantly pricked Usopp's fear point. Will a monster appear? Usopp asked in horror. Yes, Su Tsang then affirmed. Although I don't know why this place is called a small garden, this is an ancient island with a completely different ecosystem from the outside world. Therefore, many outsiders on the island have long been extinct. Huge creature. Wow. Should we go directly to the next island? You see, the prophet said so. It must be very dangerous here. Usopp was almost scared to death by Su Tsang's words. That won't work. Magnetism won't be stored so quickly. Nami shook his head and rejected Usopp's proposal. Sanji also reminded. We must replenish food. We didn't buy anything in the previous town. Hey! I see a river mouth ahead, Zoro said. Hey! I see a river mouth ahead, Zoro said. Really? Everyone came out to take a look and found that there was indeed an estuary, so they simply drove the melee directly into it. The further we drive at the mouth of the river, the more we can feel the terror of this island. Strange plants, huge birds, and sounds like volcanic eruptions. And deep in the dense forest, a huge tiger walked out. Not long after, the tiger died suddenly with blood all over its body. The island is shrouded in a veil of fear and mystery. How about we stay on the ship and wait quietly for the magnetic recording? Usopp suggested again, feeling very frightened. That's right. Even Nami agreed at this time. However, things are not that simple. Looking at the dense jungle, Luffy is already eager to try. Immediately afterwards, Luffy asked Sanji for a bento, and even Vivi rode fast and left the melee with Sanji's special drink to go on an adventure. Zoro also decided to get off the boat and go for a walk, and then got into a dispute with Sanji. Finally, the two decided to bet on who could hunt a bigger prey. In the end, only Su Tsang, Nami and Usopp were left on the entire ship. You must not leave, Su Tsang. We are all relying on you here. Usopp and Nami looked at Su Tsang eagerly, and Su Tsang then said, Okay, I won't leave until I leave. But having said that, the ancient island. I seem to have seen it in a book. Usopp. Nami then called Usopp to the cabin, and together they looked for the book about the ancient island. Island books. When Nami finally found the book, she found Su Tsang, and when she was about to share things about the ancient island with everyone, she was completely stunned. In front of them, a figure that looked like a hill had appeared in front of everyone. Nami and Usopp were already stunned at this time. It was the first time Su Tsang saw such a huge human being, and he was also shocked and speechless. The giant in front of him pointed at Nami and Usopp with his oversized nostrils and asked, So, what do you think? What's going on? Please say it again, Nami said in horror. I'm asking if you have any wine? The giant in front of him asked. A little bit, there is still some, Nami replied. So you have wine? The giant immediately became happy. But it's not for drinking, but for cooking and medical purposes, Nami responded. If you want it, I'll give it all to you, Nami said. The giant screamed in pain, and it turned out that a Tyrannosaurus Rex had bitten his butt firmly. Fear of dinosaurs. Nami and Usopp were both very frightened. However, the giant just turned around and quickly chopped off the huge knife in his hand. He raised the knife and cut off the head of the ferocious dinosaur. I am the most powerful warrior in Elbaf village. Broggy. Ha! Giant Broggy happily raised the knife in his hand, but inadvertently completely shocked Nami and Usopp. The meat is also available. I will entertain you today, guests, said the hospitable giant Broggy. But Nami and Usopp lay directly on the deck and started pretending to be dead. Su Tsang felt that it was too stupid, so he chatted directly with the giant and said, I see, you are the village of the giant, a soldier of Elbaf, Broggy. We are a group of pirates. Pirates are great. We were pirates before, Broggy said. What? Pirates from the giant clan? Wait, what Su Tsang just said about us? Is there more than one such giant on this island? Nami and Usopp both wanted to die. Nami and Usopp originally planned to pretend to be dead, but seeing Su Tsang being so open-minded and indifferent, they finally stood up. I said, Su Tsang, We can't just wait here to be eaten. Nami said. This guy won't eat you, don't worry. Su Tsung promised again and again, and Nami and Usopp chose to believe Su Tsung's words. In front of him, Broggy grilled the dinosaur directly, and shared his delicious food with Su Tsung and others while singing. Nami and Usopp naturally had no appetite at this time, but Su Tsung rarely ate such delicious dinosaur meat, and suddenly thought of his own pocket that could hold everything. I say, the little wine we have on board is too shabby to entertain you. Then let me take it out. Su Tsung then took out an oversized wooden barrel from his magical pocket that seemed impossible to put in. This wooden barrel is actually filled with delicious wine. Ha! What an amazing guy. I can smell the aroma of your wine from so far away. Broggy was very satisfied. He opened the lid of the barrel and started drinking. Kebabs and beer can help you live 99 years. Broggy was drinking beer and eating dinosaur meat, not to mention how happy he was. Su Tsung, on the other hand, quickly became familiar with Broggy. Su Tsung repeatedly told Nami and Usopp about the cuteness of giants. This guy is Elbaf, a warrior from the kingdom of giants. The honor of a warrior is above all else. It is absolutely impossible to eat people. He will only fight those who look strong. Yes, I look very strong, Usopp said. Then we can rest assured. Nami finally believed what Su Tsung said, and everyone dropped their guard. In the end, the three people gradually integrated into the party with the giant. I asked, how long does this island's magnetism last? Nami asked. 1 year. The giant said matter-of-factly. What, stay in a place like this for a year? We will go crazy. Nami and Usopp couldn't help complaining. After some time, suddenly there was an earthquake around. However, there were bursts of smoke and rumbling sounds from the mountains not far away. It turned out that a volcano had erupted. At this time, Broggy's expression suddenly became very serious, and he said, Sorry, I have to leave for a while. Leave? Yes, this is the signal for a duel that has lasted for 100 years. Broggy said. 100 years? With whom? Where? What's the reason? Usopp and Nami asked. Reason? I forgot. Ha! Broggy laughed heartily, then picked up his weapon and walked in another direction step by step. What's going on? Nami and Usopp looked at Su Tsung and asked. Upon seeing this, Su Tsung said, This is their battle to compete for the glory of the Elbaf warriors. They had to see who was stronger, so they used the volcano as a signal to go out for a duel. Why are they fighting if there is no reason? Is glory really more important to them than everything else? Nami's rhetorical question went straight to the core of the problem. Su Tsung nodded and said, Yes, that's what happened. They even forgot why they were fighting, but they always kept fighting. Can't they stop? When will it end if this continues? Usopp asked. Su Tsung could only shake his head helplessly and said, If you have to make them stop fighting, I have a good way. What can I do? Nami and Usopp asked Su Tsung very curiously. Su Tsung just showed a serious look. You don't want to defeat the two of them, do you? Usopp and Nami were almost confused again. Immediately afterwards, a desperate duel began between the two giants. One was Blue Ogre Dongli, and the other was Red Ogre Broggy. One person holds a huge sword and shield, and the other person holds a one-handed axe and shield. The two faced off against each other, causing a huge shock and overwhelming momentum. Dong dong dong! Bang bang bang! The two of them were engaged in a sacred duel very seriously, and it seemed that there would be no result at all for a while. What a fierce battle! All attacks from both sides are fatal with one blow aimed at the vital point, Usopp said. Have they been carrying on this kind of battle for 100 years? Nami asked in disbelief. I'm afraid so. Su Tsung nodded. There is no reason to fight so fiercely. It's really amazing. Is this a duel between truly powerful men? Usopp was shocked. This is a glorious duel between warriors. Usopp has always admired real maritime heroes, so he was naturally very excited. I just want to become a glorious sea warrior like them. Usopp looked at the two giants in front of him with excitement and admiration. Usopp already regards the two of them as idols, let him watch them for a while longer, Suitsing said with a smile. Okay. Nami then sat down. Are we both a little homesick? Dongli. Broggy asked while breathing heavily. Yes. So I want to kill you and then return to Elbaf, Broggy. Dongli asked also tiredly. Ha. Both of their weapons were knocked to the ground, and then they used their shields to hit each other hard in the face. 7-3-4-6-6 battle. 7-3-4-6-6 flat. After the two sides finished speaking, the two fell to the ground almost at the same time. Huge cracks had appeared on the ground where they had fought. Immediately afterwards, the two open-minded people began to laugh. Dongli. Actually, a customer brought me some wine, Broggy said cheerfully. Really? That's great. Why don't you give me some? Dongli said cheerfully. Although the battle between the giants has come to an end, Suitsang has already felt the presence of some unusual people. Well, if your guess is correct, those bastards at Baroque Works should have already prepared their own plan, right? Suitsang said with squinted eyes. But before that, let's have a good drink. Suitsang once again took out a huge wine barrel, which shocked Usopp and Nami again. I said, what is in your pocket? Can you take everything out? Nami said in disbelief. Hey, it's a secret, Suitsang said mysteriously. Haha. That's great. I said, why don't you stay here from now on? Giant Broggy said with a smile. How is that possible? We still have to. At this moment, there was an explosion not far away. Bang! Immediately afterwards, thick smoke began to billow. The people from Baroque Working Group took action, Suitsang said immediately. Suitsang immediately guessed that at Dongli's side, the wine he drank should have been replaced by explosives by Baroque's gang, causing the explosion. Suitsang guessed that Luffy would temporarily defeat Tori, who had lost his strength and was seriously injured, because doing so was the only way to stop him. Since Blue Ogre Dongli has been attacked, the targets of the Baroque Working Group's enemies should also gather there, Suitsang said with great certainty. You guys just stay here, I have to leave for a while. Suitsang didn't even have time to explain to Nami Usopp, and he rushed towards the place where the explosion had just occurred at extremely fast speeds. Seeing that there was still a thick smoke in the air, Suitsang rushed over immediately. However, at this moment, the volcano suddenly shook with a boom, and then the huge volcano erupted directly. Then, the earth began to shake again. It turned out that the two giants had received the signal again, and were preparing to duel in front of the volcano to see who was the strongest warrior of Elbaf. This is the strategy of Baroque Works. So, do you want Red Ogre to kill Blue Ogre? Then the fisherman will benefit. It's really a good plan. However, with me here, everything will not go so smoothly. Suitsang is already ready. If he wanted to prevent the giants from dueling each other, Suitsang himself would have to be stronger than the giants. The giants finally met. Broggy swung the weapon in his hand and easily suppressed Dongli in front of him. Broggy could feel that Dongli in front of him seemed much weaker than usual. Seeing this, Suitsang didn't want to delay any more and used his devil fruit power. This time the devil fruit made Suitsang's entire body become extremely huge. Suitsang's whole body was covered by the shadow of the devil behind him, and his whole body was filled with a dark and evil power. Anyone who saw Suitsang would feel very depressed. Is this also one of my abilities? Suitsang asked, looking at his hand in disbelief. This is one of the abilities of the Super Devil Fruit. You can think of it as an animal-type ability, which can increase your full abilities. Now you can also fight a giant head-on. The system answered Suitsang in a timely manner. Suitsang's doubts naturally doubled his confidence. Everyone knows that the power of giants is very terrifying, and their combat effectiveness is amazing. Even for Suitsang, it is not an easy task to fight against the enemy. But now, after Suitsang felt the power surging in his body, his whole person took on a new look. BRGY. Dongli. Sorry, this duel has to be suspended. As soon as Su Tsang appeared, he attracted the attention of the two giants. The two giants looked at Su Tsang and then refused. Even you can't stop the duel between us. This is Elbaf's glory. What a stubborn giant! Boom! The two giants waved their weapons again regardless, trying to attack each other. At this time, Su Tsang moved. Su Tsang grabbed Dongli's shield with his left hand and Broggy's shield with his right hand, and then waved it vigorously. The huge devil's hand easily threw away the bodies of the two giants. The two giants tried their best to control their bodies and stop them. However, before they could make any further moves, Su Tsang's attack came again. Su Tsang turned his demonic hands into giants, one giant in each hand, and captured both giants in his hands. No matter how hard the two giants struggled, they could not break free from Su Tsang's shackles. Human, what do you want to do? Is it to stop the battle between us? This is our honor as Elbaf soldiers. Do you really want to stop me and us? The two giants said one after another. This duel has been tampered with for a long time. Even if it is unfair, do you still want to start the duel? Su Tsang asked. Unexpectedly, the two giants answered in the affirmative with a tacit understanding. You are really hopeless, but even if you want to duel again, it is impossible. Otherwise, you will defeat me. Su Tsang was also very determined. He would never let two giants kill each other. In that case, for the sake of our glorious duel, we have no choice but to be polite. The two giants looked at each other, and then launched an attack on Su Tsang. Su Tsang's hands were originally holding the giant tightly, but the giant used all his strength to break free from Su Tsang. What a great strength! You are indeed a giant! Su Tsang was shocked. Even he did not expect that the strength of the giants could reach such a level. Su Tsang still held the two giants with all his strength, but it was obvious that the giants at this time had gradually gained the upper hand in the competition of strength. These guys are really powerful. I still underestimate them. After Su Tsang finished speaking, his hand was finally opened. After the two giants broke free from his restraints, they first attacked him. After all, if Su Tsang was there, the duel between them would still be disturbed. However, Dongli had been seriously injured, and he was obviously out of shape. Su Tsang seized this good opportunity, clenched the devil's claw directly into a fist, and then hit Dongli hard. Although Dongli raised his shield, Su Tsang's strength was not small, and the power of his super devil fruit was comparable to the power of a giant. Just hearing a bang, the giant Dongli was knocked down by a punch and fell to the ground. Broggy also launched a desperate attack on Su Tsang. Su Tsang blocked Broggy with difficulty and carried a giant head on. It seemed quite difficult for Su Tsang without using swordsmanship. At this moment, a shocking scene happened. Broggy and Su Tsang suddenly saw a large amount of white matter appearing around them. These things seemed to be in a liquid state at first, but when they submerged their bodies like a sea, they turned into a solid state. Yes, both Su Tsang and the giant Broggy were immobilized by this thing. Ha! It's really hard work. I didn't expect you people to be stupid enough to kill each other. No matter how powerful you are, you have all been caught by me. The speaker looks very strange, and the important thing is that on his head is a 3 written in hair. Beside him, there was a little girl wearing a hat and eating cookies. Su Tsang immediately knew the identity of the visitor. It's you, Mr. 3 and Mississippi Golden Week, Su Tsang said. Oh? Do you know us? But we probably haven't met before, Mr. 3 said in a strange tone. You have the ability to melt the candle's fruit. It's a very interesting ability. I hope you can bring me a different surprise, Su Tsang said. Surprise? You seem to think too highly of yourself, right? Ha ha! You want to be my enemy? Is this true? Since you know that I am a devil fruit user, you should know how strong I am, right? Mr. 3 said with a smile. As he spoke, Mr. 3 was still controlling the white substance on his body, and then he very strangely returned to himself from the wax liquid just now. What on earth are you going to do? Broggy asked with great difficulty. Me? Of course I want to make my beloved work. Mr. 3 said very excitedly. Huh! No matter what you want to do, I won't let you get what you want. Broggy then struggled desperately, but he couldn't break free. Ha ha! Give up! Give up! The hardness of my candle coat after solidification is almost the same as iron. Even if it has the strange power of the giants, it is useless as long as it is trapped. Mr. 3 said. In short, you have to use your brain for everything. There is no need for head-on confrontation. You are careless because you want to win. Anyway, Red Ogre Broggy and Blue Ogre Dongli, your battle should come to an end. Haven't you been fighting with some glory for a century? You still don't know that we did something to Dongli, right? Ha! However, I am the one who wins in the end. Even if this human being wants to stop the battle between you, I am still the one who achieves the greatest victory in the end. In the past, the total bounty for the two of you was as high as 200 million belly. This bounty is still valid now, and this man also has a bounty of 50 million belly. I feel like I have found a long-dormant treasure. As the saying goes, villains die from talking too much. Mr. 3 kept talking about all the bad things he had done. Now Broggy understood everything. He really felt that Dongli's combat effectiveness was not as good as before. After working on it for a long time, it turned out that it's these people who are causing trouble. At this time Mississippi Valentine and Mr. 5 have arrived, and at the same time they also captured Princess Vivi. Mr. Suit Sung! Princess Vivi did not expect that Suit Sung would also be caught. Candle shackles! Mr. 3 once again used his ability, and directly locked Princess Vivi's feet firmly. Mr. 5, bring the swordsman and the woman here, let's start. The flame on Mr. 3's head became very strong, and his hands immediately turned into white candles. Extra large candle holder! Immediately afterwards, a very huge candlestick appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Mr. 5 directly threw the captured Zoro and Nami to the ground. Then Vivi, Nami, Zoro, and Suit Sung were all inserted into the candlestick, and their feet were locked. Suit Sung, what should we do? What should we do in this situation? Nami and others asked. Wait for me for a while, I can break free. After Suit Sung finished speaking, white things appeared around him and fell down. Don't inhale it! It's wax mist. If you inhale it, we will turn into candle dolls. Suit Sung reminded, and his companions immediately covered their mouths and noses, and then, the color of the demon's shadow behind Suit Sung is getting deeper and deeper. Suit Sung punched the candlestick open under him. Everyone jumped down from the tall candlestick. At the same time, the giant Broggy was also full of anger and broke away from the candles that bound him. I already knew what Dongli was hiding, but how could I stop out of sympathy? And now, I know the reason. Now that I know the reason, I have to put an end to it with my own hands. This is my moral obligation to my friend Dongli Ware. Broggy broke free from the shackles of the candle, but at this moment Mr. 5 popped out a booger, and the booger instantly exploded with great power. Even Broggy fell to the ground after being hit by a booger explosion in the front. What a verbose monster! We should deal with this group of people seriously now, Mr. 5 said. At this time, Suit Sung and others had broken free from their shackles, and naturally became the enemy of Baroque Working Group and others. Humph! You guys! I didn't expect it. I still underestimate you. But you won't have another chance. Mr. 3 then used his fruit power again, trying to use a wide range of the solidification ability completely restrained everyone. It's not that easy. Next I'll let you see how powerful I am. After Suit Sung's words fell, he once again used the power of the devil fruit, and at the same time, his eyes had turned into a double Magatama Sharingan state. Suit Sung saw Mr. 3's attack trajectory clearly. However, at this time, Suit Sung was fighting against not only Mr. 3 but also Mr. 5, two senior agents from Baroque Works, both of whom were attacking Suit Sung. Vivi and Nami fight against Mississippi Valentine's Day, while Zoro fights against the mysterious Mississippi Golden Week. Suit Sung, who possesses the power of Sharingan and Super Devil Fruit, has heaven-defying defense, and is almost completely immune to Mr. 5's explosive attacks. As for Mr. 3, Su-Tsang can completely avoid it by just using his flexibility. No matter how strong or fierce the attack is, it is meaningless as long as it does not fall on Su-Tsang. Although Mr. 3 and Mr. 5 were attacking Su-Tsang from both sides, they still felt a great sense of powerlessness. Their attacks had no effect on Su-Tsang at all. You guys! Are you also a devil fruit user? What on earth is this strange fruit? Is it a moth? The two men's attacks made no progress, and they gradually lost the idea of fighting Su-Tsang. Forget it. Let's deal with the others directly. This guy is too difficult to deal with. He can fly into the air and dodge our attacks very flexibly. It's a waste of time, so it's better to deal with the other people. Mr. 3 is quite smart, but he still underestimated Su-Tsang's ability. Come when you want, leave when you want. It's not that simple. Su-Tsang's demonic light flourished, and he blocked the two of them at extremely fast speeds. Damn it! It seems that if we don't deal with this guy, we won't be able to deal with the others, Mr. 3 said. In that case, leave him to me, and leave the others to you. Mr. 5. Mr. 3 activated his devil fruit with all his strength, and he directly used a large area of candles to seal Su-Tsang's surroundings. He created a gap for Mr. 5, but at this moment, a boom sound resounded all around. What happened? Mr. 3 looked back and saw that a man wearing a straw hat had punched Mr. 5 in the face. This guy! Mr. 3 was shocked. In addition to the boy wearing a straw hat, there was also a boy with a long nose. You are here! Su-Tsang also punched the candle wall and flew out from inside. Hateful! Ha, Luffy and Usopp are late. If you don't show up, Zoro and the others might die, Su-Tsang said with a smile, not feeling worried at all. Sorry, I'm trapped, Luffy said apologetically. At this moment, a voice came. Candle shackles! Mr. 3 took advantage of Su-Tsang's attention on Luffy and tried to use his fruit power to block Su-Tsang's feet. But Su-Tsang naturally would not let Mr. 3 achieve his goals so easily. Luffy! I'll leave the rest to you. Let me take care of this guy. Su-Tsang instantly dodged Mr. 3's sneak attack. However, Mr. 3 did not appear very discouraged. He smiled strangely and actually used the candle shackles again. This time, the scope was much larger than before. Ha! Su-Tsang didn't dodge at all this time, but rushed towards the wax liquid head-on. Ha ha! I didn't expect the guy with a bounty of 50 million to turn out to be a big idiot. Mr. 3 laughed very proudly. He was very confident in his moves. This is as hard as steel. If you are trapped here, the outcome will be decided. Mr. 3 was already ready to taste the fruits of victory. However, at this moment, Su-Tsang's whole body was actually covered by the demon behind him. The demon's body exuded a dark aura, which instantly elementalized Su-Tsang's body. These candle liquids solidified immediately, and it should be said that they would immobilize Su-Tsang's entire body. However, the actual situation was that Su-Tsang walked out easily. Wait! What is going on? Is this the ability of the Logia Devil Fruit? Aren't you a Paramecia? Mr. 3 also opened his mouth wide. He couldn't believe it at all. The abilities Su-Tsang displayed, such as extending his arms and enlarging his body, were undoubtedly Paramecia's abilities. However, Su-Tsang can also transform into elements, which is Logia's ability. Mr. 3 was also a little confused at this time. What on earth is going on? If he is a user with Logia's ability, then he can obviously avoid those attacks of mine just now. Can't you understand? Su-Tsang smiled slightly and walked towards Mr. 3 step by step. Mr. 3 looked a little nervous, but still used the power of his candle to try to block Su-Tsang's progress. Impossible! Impossible! You are a Paramecia user! It cannot be Logia! How can there be rare Logia in a remote corner of this great waterway? Mr. 3's attacks kept falling at Su-Tsang's feet. However, the elementalized Su-Tsang is naturally directly immune. If you want to defeat Logia's espers, you must either find their weaknesses or use Haki. In the first half of the Great Channel, there are only a handful of powerful people who are domineering. You have always been the one attacking, now it's my turn, right? Su Tsang's voice appeared around Mr. 3, but Mr. 3 could not find Su Tsang at all. Su Tsang used his teleportation to quickly move around Mr. 3. Finally, Su Tsang rushed out and punched straight, and the black shadow behind him also followed him. Devil's Fist! Wall of Candles! Mr. 3's reaction was already very fast. He used his candle to form a defensive wall. However, in front of Su Tsang's fist, the wall as hard as steel seemed like tofu. Ha! Su Tsang exerted a little force, and the candle wall collapsed.